A quiet and peaceful Ace city shatters when a massive explosion wipes out everything in sight. At the center of the blast stands Vaccine Man, who takes to the skies and unleashes a barrage of energy blast on the city. Buildings crumble, civilians are wiped out, and the destruction spirals out of control. The Hero Association quickly sends A-class heroes Lightning Max and Smile Man to stop him, but they're taken down almost instantly. In his apartment, Saitama watches the chaos on the news. He decides it's time to step in. Just as Vaccine Man prepares to kill a young girl, Saitama arrives and saves her. The monster declares itself as Vaccine Man, born from humanity's pollution, destined to wipe humans out. He mutates into a hulking form, but Saitama ends the fight immediately with a single punch. Furious at how easy it was, Saitama lets out a scream of frustration. Meanwhile, King wanders onto the scene, only looking for a video game he dropped. He trips over what's left of Vaccine Man's body. By the time Hero Association reinforcements show up, they assume King was the one who defeated the monster. The story then shifts into a flashback, 3 years before Saitama became a hero. Back then he was unemployed and crossed paths with Crablante, a man transformed into a crab monster after overeating crab. Crablante spares him, but reveals he's after a boy with a huge weird-looking chin. Not long after, Saitama meets the child, who admits he once doodled nipples on Crablante while the monster slept. When Crablante finds them, Saitama decides to defend the kid. He strangles the monster with his tie and rips out its eye stalk, killing it. What Saitama doesn't know is that the boy is the grandson of Agony, a wealthy multimillionaire. Hearing what happened, Agony is inspired to create the National Superhero Registry. Using his fortune, along with his business support and donations, he establishes the Hero Association. Heroes are then organized into 4 classes: C, B, A, and S, with ranks in each class. Back in the present, Saitama recalls all this while shopping. Suddenly, the city is attacked by a colossal man named Marugori, mutated through an experimental steroid called Biceps Brachi King, made by his older brother, a mad scientist. The brothers plan to conquer the world, but things go wrong when the scientist spots Saitama casually standing on his brother's shoulder. The older brother panics and orders the giant to swat him. Instead, the giant accidentally strikes the wrong shoulder, killing his own brother. Enraged and heartbroken, the giant fights Saitama until the bald hero delivers another effortless punch, killing the giant and leveling B City in the process. That night, Saitama returns home only to be approached by super custom YO649Z Mach 2. This self-proclaimed car enthusiast turned himself into a monster obsessed with custom vehicles. He mocks Saitama's bald head, and without hesitation, Saitama ends him in one punch. The next morning, Saitama wakes up in the middle of an invasion by the subterranean people, who have already wiped out most of humanity. Unlike his usual battles, Saitama feels genuinely excited. He clashes with the invaders, cutting down hordes of them and preparing to face the subterranean king. But right before the fight, he wakes up. It was only a dream. Stepping outside, he finds a real invasion taking place, but it's nothing like what he imagined. The subterraneans are weak, and after their king is instantly defeated, they surrender with a flag that reads, "Sorry about that." Later, Saitama spends his day casually watering his cactus when the TV cuts in with urgent news. A massive mosquito swarm is moving straight towards Z City. Annoyed but unfazed, he tries to kill a mosquito buzzing around his apartment, only to fail over and over. Meanwhile, in abandoned parts of the city, chaos breaks out. A looter taking advantage of the empty streets becomes the swarm's latest victim, drained of blood in seconds. The swarm isn't acting on its own. It's under the command of Mosquito Girl, a deadly mutant who thrives on consuming blood. A cyborg named Genos steps in to confront her. Unlike normal humans, he isn't vulnerable to the mosquitoes, making him the perfect counter. The battle escalates quickly, with both of them trading blows so viciously that Genos loses an arm and Mosquito Girl loses a limb of her own. She then summons her swarm to drain blood from animals in the surrounding wilderness, consuming it all to transform into a stronger, more terrifying form. Powered up, she completely overwhelms Genos, burning through his systems and leaving him on the ropes. Just as she's about to finish the fight, Saitama casually intervenes. With a single slap, he swats her out of the sky and ends the battle instantly. Stunned by what he's seen, Genos immediately asks Saitama to take him on as his disciple. Saitama agrees, though without much enthusiasm. A few days later, Genos shows up at his apartment uninvited, determined to follow through. He launches into a long drawn-out explanation about his past, detailing the destruction caused by the mad cyborg that destroyed his village and killed his family. Since then, he's been searching for that cyborg to get revenge. The endless monologue drives Saitama to visible frustration. Elsewhere, in a secret laboratory, the mysterious House of Evolution observes Mosquito Girl's defeat. The organization's leader, Dr. Genos, decides Saitama is too interesting to ignore and orders his capture. Back in Z City, Saitama and Genos' conversation is interrupted when a messenger from the House of Evolution arrives. The intruder doesn't last long, quickly destroyed by the pair. Soon after, Saitama gets caught in an underground trap while Genos faces off against Armored Gorilla, a combat cyborg sent by the organization. Saitama easily breaks free and wipes out the other enemies, leaving Armored Gorilla as the only survivor. Cornered and realizing his squad is gone, Armored Gorilla reluctantly explains what he knows about Dr. Genos. He reveals that Genos was once a brilliant young scientist with radical ideas about artificially advancing human evolution. His theories isolated him from the scientific community, but he pressed forward, eventually uncovering the secret to immortality. Using that knowledge, he cloned himself countless times, creating the army of subordinates working under him. As the story drags on, Saitama loses patience and demands that the Armored Gorilla get to the point. Pressed further, the cyborg explains that Genos is specifically interested in Saitama's body. Saitama misunderstands the intent, jumping to the wrong conclusion, until Genos clarifies that the scientist simply wants him for experimentation. With discount day at the supermarket fast approaching, Saitama decides that they'll deal with the House of Evolution right away. Before they leave, Genos asks if Armored Gorilla knows anything about the cyborg who destroyed town 4 years earlier, the one responsible for his tragedy. Armored Gorilla, however, denies any knowledge. At the House of Evolution, preparations begin. The facility sets up traps to deal with the incoming threat, but as the battle draws closer, Dr. Genos reluctantly agrees to unleash his ultimate creation, Carnage Kabuto. When Saitama and Genos arrive, Genos wastes no time. He obliterates the entire above-ground portion of the facility with a single blast, before heading underground. There, they come face to face with Carnage Kabuto, who immediately tests Genos. Despite Genos unleashing everything he has, his attacks don't even scratch the monster. Then it's Saitama's turn. Carnage Kabuto senses something is off about him and hesitates, unnerved by the sheer pressure he gives off. During their face-off, Saitama casually reveals his daily training routine: 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every single day with no shortcuts. Genos is left in disbelief at the simplicity of it. Carnage Kabuto then unleashes his Carnage mode, a transformation that multiplies his strength and speed many times over. He appears to dominate the fight, but Saitama isn't worried about him at all. Instead, he suddenly realized that discount day at the supermarket is today, not tomorrow. Annoyed at nearly missing it, he ends the battle instantly with a single punch, reducing Carnage Kabuto to nothing. Dr. Genos witnesses the entire thing. The overwhelming gap between Saitama and his own creations force him to rethink everything. He abandons his dream of artificial evolution, realizing that real change must come from within himself. Saitama and Genos leave immediately, heading to the store to catch the discounts before they expire. Later, officials from the Hero Association investigate the ruins of the House of Evolution. They discuss the massive destruction and take notes of Genos' devastating capabilities. Meanwhile, a man named Hammerhead has a mission. He wants to tear down modern society's grind of overworked, underpaid lives and replace it with his own idea of a utopia. He gathers a gang of like-minded followers, all bald like him, and begins making speeches in public. The problem is, no one in the streets takes him seriously. His big announcement about targeting Suiryu, a wealthy man who owns a luxurious apartment complex, barely gets noticed. While this unfolds, Saitama is at home having a bizarre dream where he's stuck playing rock paper scissors against someone with a booger on their finger. He wakes up only to discover something that really bothers him. Hammerhead's group, called the Paradisers, is giving bald men a bad reputation, making people think being bald automatically means you're dangerous. Annoyed, he storms out to put an end to it. Suiryu, aware that Hammerhead has set his sights on him, decides not to take chances. He hires his own personal bodyguard, a skilled and deadly ninja named Speedo Sound Sonic. Sonic intercepts Hammerhead's bald gang on their way to Suiryu's mansion. Without hesitation, he warns them that those who fight him rarely survive. Within moments, he proves it by slicing through nearly the entire group, decapitating them with ease. Elsewhere, Saitama is running into his own problem. Civilians mistake him for one of the terrorists simply because he's bald. Meanwhile, the battle between Sonic and Hammerhead reaches its end, leaving only 2 of them alive. Hammerhead barely escapes with his life and flees into the forest, where he crosses paths with Saitama. Hammerhead powers up his combat suit, ready to fight, but it doesn't matter. Saitama throws one punch and shatters the entire suit, leaving Hammerhead vulnerable. Instead of finishing him, Saitama lets him run off, naked and humiliated, almost pitying him for his failed cause. Not long after, Sonic arrives. He mistakes Saitama for one of Hammerhead's men and immediately attacks. Saitama blocks his strikes and tries to explain, but Sonic isn't satisfied. Since his attacks were stopped, he now feels obligated to defeat Saitama. Their brief clash ends in an awkward moment when Saitama accidentally lands a punch to Sonic's crotch. Sonic crumbles in pain but swears revenge, promising to train until he could defeat Saitama. Back at his apartment, Saitama tells Genos to leave him alone, insisting he has more important issues to think about. His concern isn't another villain, it's the fact that nobody knows who he is. Despite defeating countless enemies, his achievements have gone unnoticed. Genos suggests a solution: sign up for the official hero registry. Together they go online and apply, which means that they'll need to pass a formal exam to be recognized as licensed heroes. Saitama and Genos finally take the first step to become registered heroes, but to get in, they have to pass both a physical and written test. When it comes to the physical part, Saitama wipes out the competition without breaking a sweat. No one even comes close to his results. The written exam, though, isn't as easy for him. He scrapes by with the bare minimum, passing by just a single point. Because of that, he gets assigned to C class, the lowest rank. Genos, on the other hand, aces everything perfectly. His flawless score earns him the highest spot right away, S class. Out of all the applicants, only Saitama and Genos land in a class instructed by Snek, an A-class hero tasked with training recruits. Snek carried himself with confidence, but it quickly becomes obvious that Saitama and Genos are far above his level. During class, Saitama zones out, which annoys Snek enough to challenge him. The result backfires completely, and Snek embarrasses himself in front of everyone. Later that day, Genos asks Saitama for a sparring match. With his latest upgrades, Genos wants to push his limits and maybe uncover what Saitama's true secret is. He doesn't believe the simple training routine Saitama mentioned before could really be the whole answer. The fight begins with Genos giving it everything he has, while Saitama casually avoids and holds back. Genos insists that Saitama fights seriously, and when Saitama finally does, the battle ends instantly without him even landing a blow. Genos is left stunned, realizing that Saitama is operating on a level that he can't reach through training alone. Afterward, the two head to an udon shop. They end up in an eating contest. Genos easily finishes his meal while Saitama nearly collapses from the effort. While they're there, Amai Mask, the rank 1 hero of A class, suddenly appears and asks to speak with Genos outside. Genos assumes Amai Mask is there to challenge him and gets ready for a fight, but that's not the case. Amai Mask simply congratulates Genos on joining the hero ranks and welcomes him, leaving without any conflict. The encounter reignites Genos' determination to grow stronger, and he decides he needs Saitama's mentorship more than ever. The very next day, Genos shows up at Saitama's apartment with all his belongings in tow. He asks if he can move in. Saitama immediately refuses, but when Genos offers to pay rent, his mind changes fast. From then on, the two begin living together. Saitama spends his time lounging and reading manga, while Genos meticulously studies his training methods, writing down every little detail and gesture. Saitama grows increasingly frustrated, realizing that keeping up the act of being a master is going to be a hassle. During one of their conversations, Genos brings up a problem. He explained that heroes who go a week without activity are removed from the hero registry, especially in C class where the competition is heavy. Saitama, who has already been inactive for 6 days, panics. He immediately decides to go on patrol before time runs out. Genos offers to tag along, but Saitama brushes him off, telling him to train in patience. In reality, Saitama has no idea how to properly teach and just blurts out random advice. For the next 2 days, Saitama patrols without finding much to do. By the last day, he's nervous about getting struck off the registry, and that's when Sonic shows up. Determined to settle the rivalry he insists exists between them. Saitama, uninterested, brushes him off. This only enrages Sonic, who attacks, only for Saitama to casually bite his sword in half. The sight shocks Sonic, who grows nervous as Saitama threatens to finally hit him. At the same time, Tanktop Tiger, another C-class hero, interrupts. He accuses Saitama of acting crazy in public while trying to gain attention for himself. Tiger uses the crowd's cheers as a way to boost his own image. But before anything escalates further, Sonic rains down a barrage of explosive shuriken. Panic erupts in the streets as the crowd scatters. Realizing Sonic is behind the chaos, Saitama finally sees this as the hero work he needs. He takes down Sonic effortlessly, ending the fight in an instant and sending the ninja assassin to jail. Later that day, in the quieter outskirts of Z City, a mysterious monster begins to terrify the few residents still living there. At Hero Association HQ, S-Class Rank 2 Tatsumaki scolds the staff for not sending her to deal with it, since A-Class heroes Golden Ball and Spring Mustachio were dispatched instead. Meanwhile, Golden Ball and Mustachio patrol the streets of Z City. They recall rumors about a dangerous monster living there, but find nothing at first. Eventually, they stumble across evidence of the creature and soon come face to face with Kombu Infinity. Kombu is also interested in the rumors of powerful monsters in the area, but instead of allies, he finds prey. He makes short work of both heroes, swatting aside their best attacks with ease. Realizing they're outmatched, Mustachio calls for reinforcements, but is defeated before help can arrive. Kombu, disappointed with how weak his opponents were, decides to create the very rumor he came seeking, determined to spread fear of a dangerous monster in Z City. Not long after, Saitama returns home from a market sale. Kombu notices him and Saitama grumbles about failing to get Kombu stocks for soup before it attacks. By the time Genos returns home, the fight is already over. Saitama is calmly cooking kombu soup in the kitchen, using the defeated monster as an ingredient. Meanwhile, scientists and astronomers track a meteor passing over Earth when its course suddenly shifts towards Z City. A citywide alert goes out warning of imminent impact. Meanwhile, Saitama and Genos are at home talking about their hero rankings. Saitama has jumped a few spots in C class, from 388th to 345th, while Genos hasn't moved in rank but is gaining popularity fast. Their conversation is cut short when the Hero Association sends an emergency call to all S-class heroes. Only a few respond, with Bang and Genos rushing to the scene. Bang tells Genos that evacuation orders have already been issued. He advises the young hero to pull out while there's still time, but Genos refuses to abandon the city. He thinks of Saitama living there and pushes forward, determined to fight. Bang admires his resolve but warns that this meteor will destroy not just Z City, but surrounding areas as well. Genos leaps across rooftops towards the impact site and sees civilians frozen in despair. He realizes evacuation is impossible now, reinforcing his decision to stay. Just then, Metal Knight arrives to test out new weapons against the meteor. He shows no interest in teamwork, focusing only on his personal data collection. His weapons fail to make a dent, and Genos decides to step up. He launches everything he has at the meteor, but doubts begin to cloud his focus. Bang arrives to steady his resolve, reminding him not to falter. Despite his best efforts, Genos can't stop the meteor. In the end, Saitama arrives and shatters it in one punch. The meteor is destroyed, but fragments rain down across Z City, leveling neighborhoods and leaving countless civilians homeless. The next day, Saitama finds out that his rank skyrocketed from 345th place to 5th in the C-class roster, while Genos has been raised from 17th to 16th of the S-class because of his part in the mission. Later, while patrolling the damaged city, Saitama faces a crowd stirred up by Tanktop Tiger and his brother Tanktop Black Hole. They blame him for the destruction left by the meteor, ignoring the fact that his intervention saved them all. The brothers rally the mob against him, trying to turn Saitama into a scapegoat. Instead of defending himself, Saitama flips the situation. He openly tells them he's not a hero for their praise or approval, but because he enjoys it. He declares that they can hate him all they want because their opinion doesn't matter. Bang, watching from the sidelines, notices how Saitama calmly takes control of the situation, shutting down the mob's anger with nothing but his conviction. Genos arrives and tells his master to ignore and just lead the angry crowd. He reminds his master that he's still an incredible hero, no matter what others say, and assures him that he'll continue to follow him even without the public's recognition. Saitama downplays the compliment, but as he turns away, a quiet, satisfied smile slips across his face. Later, a Sea Folk messenger suddenly shows up in J City, attacking and declaring that the Sea Folk are coming to wipe out humanity. On his way back from shopping, Saitama casually stops by and erases the messenger with one punch. When the C-class rank 1 Moomin Rider arrives, all that's left is the mangled body of the creature and a crowd buzzing about Saitama. Curious, Moomin Rider looks him up online and sees that while Saitama is clearly powerful, people are still split on whether he's genuine or a fraud. At the coast, huge Sea Folk monsters began emerging from the ocean and threaten J City. A-class hero Stinger steps up with his bamboo shoot weapon to hold them back. Meanwhile, Genos is drying dishes with his built-in gear while Saitama watches a news report on Stinger's fight. The two decide to head out. Stinger wipes out the last 4 Sea Folk with his gigantic drill Stinger quadruple thrust. But then the leader of the Sea Folk, the Deep Sea King, appears and crushes him. Saitama, Genos, and Moomin Rider all set out towards the fight, and Genos splits off to scout ahead. Lightning Max takes on the Sea King but is quickly defeated. S-Class rank hero 17, Puri Puri Prisoner, who escaped from prison to help, joins in but also loses to the monster. Sonic, having escaped alongside Puri Puri Prisoner, battles the Sea King to a stalemate, but the raid transforms the monster into his true form, forcing Sonic to retreat. On the way, Saitama and Moomin Rider run into each other. Saitama goes off when he spots Sonic running naked through the rain. While Moomin Rider gets a call from the Hero Association about the Sea King's location, he heads there only to find the monster breaking into an emergency shelter, defeating heroes inside like Snek, and tearing through defenders. When Saitama returns to their meeting spot, all he finds is a discarded cell phone. As the association debates whether to send Saitama in, Genos begins his fight with the Deep Sea King. He nearly defeats him with a massive attack, but leaves himself open and loses an arm. Even so, he keeps the crowd safe, telling them to escape while he distracts the monster. Just when things seem under control, the Sea King launches acid at a little girl. Genos shields her and takes the full hit, which melts most of his body, and nearly kills him. Before the monster can finish him off, Moomin Rider charges in. He's completely outmatched but refuses to back down. The people cheer him on, moved by his determination, but it's not enough. He collapses after a final blow. Just as he's about to hit the ground, Saitama arrives, catching him. With the association's order for backup in hand, he steps forward and destroys the Deep Sea King with a single punch. The crowd erupts in praise. Back at their apartment, Genos and Saitama get fan mail. Genos receives praise, while Saitama gets a letter insulting him and calling him a cheat. The story then jumps back to right after the battle, when people were cheering Saitama's victory. One man ruins the mood by criticizing the fallen heroes, claiming they must have been frauds if a C-class hero finished the monster in one punch. To protect their reputation, Saitama laughs it off, saying he was just lucky that the others had weakened the Sea King before he got there. He tells the crowd to give credit to the fallen instead. The people call him a fraud and direct their thanks towards the defeated heroes. Back in the present, Saitama realizes he has more letters. One simply says, "Thank you." The next is from the Association, announcing his promotion to B-Class, rank 101. He accepts. At headquarters, Amai Mask hears of Saitama's promotion. At first, he's dismissive, blaming the higher-ranked heroes for their failures against the Sea King. But when he learns Saitama was the one who actually beat the monster, his attitude changes. As Saitama is walking home at night after his promotion, he runs into Moomin Rider at a roadside Odin stand. Moomin Rider admits that he was the one who sent the thank you letter and later pays for Saitama's meal. Meanwhile, the ancient king wakes up after 300 million years of slumber, waiting for the other clan kings to fall before making his move. Earth's military launches missiles at him, but none of them can pierce his skin. The Hero Association calls in Tatsumaki, and after a quick standoff, she pulls a meteor down from space and crushes him. At Bang's dojo, Bang explains to Saitama and Genos how his top student Garou snapped and defeated all of his other disciples. Before the conversation can continue, a staff member from the Hero Association arrives to announce an emergency. All S-Class heroes are being summoned. Bang invites Saitama to come along. At headquarters, Saitama meets the rest of the S-Class lineup: Atomic Samurai, Puri Puri Prisoner, Metal Bat, Tanktop Master, Flashy Flash, Watchdog Man, Super Alloy Darkshine, Pig God, Drive Knight, Zombie Man, King, and Child Emperor. Association Executive Sitch opens the meeting by warning that even with their strength, the situation they face could kill them. He then explains that Madame Shibabawa, the great seer whose predictions have always been accurate, recently died. She choked on a cough pill during a coughing fit brought on by a vision. Before she passed, she left behind her final prophecy: the Earth is in trouble. The heroes are told to prepare for a catastrophe within 6 months. Before the meeting can wrap up, HQ is attacked by the Skyfolk led by the Sky King. Melzagard, a member of the Dark Matter Thieves, appears and wipes them out. Above, an alien ship unleashes an attack that obliterates a city, killing countless people. On the ground, Melzagard closes in on civilians, but Iron of Atomic Samurai's dojo intervenes. He loses his left arm before Atomic Samurai arrives to save him. Melzagard regenerates from their attacks without effort, and the fight drags on. Metal Bat, Bang, and Puri Puri Prisoner join in. Puri Puri recalls the Deep Sea King's word and transforms into his Dark Angel form, hammering Melzagard with punches. Meanwhile, other S-Class heroes argue over how to handle the massive ship. Genos points out that Saitama's already boarded it and is tearing through the aliens on his own, confident that nothing evil can withstand him. Inside the ship, Saitama crushes Boros with one punch and keeps moving forward, looking for the boss. On the throne, Boros waits. Gyugenshwu fumes over Boros' defeat, worrying that only he and Melzagard remain. Boros dismisses his concerns, trusting the ship's protective systems. Back below, the heroes keep battling Melzagard despite his constant regeneration. Iron urges them to retreat and find another strategy, but Atomic Samurai, Bang, Puri Puri, and Metal Bat keep pressing forward anyway. While Melzagard's attention is split with his telepathic link to Gyugenshwu, Metal Bat smashes a marble hidden inside his body, permanently destroying one of his forms. Elsewhere in the ship, Saitama stumbles upon Gyugenshwu. The alien has overwhelming telekinesis, bending everything around him, but Saitama casually takes him down with a pebble toss. At the same time, Dark Matter's artillery crew prepares a bombardment. Child Emperor and Genos coordinate on the ground, while Sitch and Bushos stay linked to the heroes. Moomin Rider evacuates survivors. As Melzagard continues his rampage, the bombardment is fired. Tatsumaki arrives just in time, freezes the show in midair, insults the other hero for their recklessness, and hurls the projectiles back at the ship. Stinger and Lightning Mac also show up to offer help. Bang manages to destroy another of Melzagard's marbles before being struck and smashed into a building, knocked unconscious. Seeing Bang's condition enrages Atomic Samurai, who renews his assault. Inside the ship, Saitama finally confronts Boros. The alien scans him, confirming that he is Earth's strongest warrior. He explains that a prophecy from his people Seer foretold this encounter. Saitama interrupts by punching him. The strike shatters Boros' armor, which was used to contain his overwhelming energy. Boros thanks Saitama for releasing him as his body shifts into his true form. Their battle rages across the throne room and spills onto the ship's surface. Saitama effortlessly blocks Boros' blows and counters with strikes of his own, blowing off Boros' arm. Boros regenerates instantly, boasting of his abilities. He then unleashes his ultimate transformation, Meteoric Burst, and drives Saitama into an all-out high-speed assault. His attacks are so fast and destructive that he tears through his own ship, killing parts of his crew. Finally, Boros knees Saitama all the way to the moon. Unfazed, Saitama leaps back from the moon to Earth in seconds, crashing down onto the ship. Boros tries to overwhelm him again, but Saitama retaliates with consecutive normal punches, blasting Boros' body apart. Even then, Boros regenerates one final time and prepares his ultimate move, Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon, which could wipe out the planet. Saitama answers with his Serious Punch, completely neutralizing the blast and vaporizing Boros. The impact alone clears the clouds across the globe. Dying, Boros admits that Saitama never fought him seriously and that the prophecy he believed in was false. The ship collapses onto the ruins of a city. Afterward, Drive Knight warns Genos that Metal Knight is his enemy before leaving. Amai Mask appears, blaming the S-Class heroes for the devastation, nearly sparking a fight. Metal Knight interrupts to salvage alien tech from the wreck. Super Alloy Darkshine discovers alien survivors, but Amai Mask immediately executes them, leaving Genos disturbed by how much he resembles his own past self. Saitama emerges from the ship to find Tatsumaki raging. Genos mocks her as a brat and she slams him into a rock before Bang stops them from escalating further. Metal Knight salvaged parts are later used to rebuild the Hero Association HQ, which now stands where A City once was. A and S-Class heroes are given places to live in the new headquarters. In this anime-exclusive scene, a dragon-level threat named Pluton appears in Z City and devastates everything in his path. As always, Saitama ends it with one punch, lamenting that his life is back to being filled with instant victories. A few days later, Saitama and Genos are heading back from the grocery store when they run into King, the S-Class Rank 7 hero. At the same time, Tongue Stretcher is causing chaos in the city, but the second he hears King's engine, that ominous heartbeat sound, he immediately surrenders without a fight. Not long after, a robot called G4 shows up and challenges King to a fight. King tries to dodge the situation by saying he needs to use the bathroom first, claiming that fighting at full power requires the right conditions. G4 accepts this excuse, but warns that if King doesn't return in 10 minutes, he'll start killing civilians nearby. King is overwhelmed with fear because the truth is, he isn't the strongest human alive that everyone believes him to be. He's just an ordinary otaku who always happens to be near battle sites when monsters are taken down. Thanks to those coincidences, he was wrongfully credited for the victories, and eventually, he started going along with the reputation because of the fame and recognition it brought. While Genos jumps in and engages G4, King runs back to his apartment and boots up his favorite dating sim, Heartbeat Hottie Sisters 2. Saitama follows him, catching him in the middle of his gaming session. Embarrassed, King quickly switches to another game, but Saitama doesn't mind and even joins in. Their session is cut short when a monster, Giant Crow, attacks King's apartment. Terrified, King panics, wets himself, and accidentally exposes his big secret that he's not a real hero. Saitama quickly kills the bird monster, and in that moment, King realizes something important. It was actually Saitama who had saved him years ago from Octopus Clawman, the monster that left him with the scar on his eye. Afterwards, Saitama casually stays to play more video games with King, while Genos receives updates from Dr. Kusuno using parts salvaged from G4 after defeating it. Meanwhile, the Hero Association takes drastic action. Sitch announces a controversial plan to recruit criminals to fight against the growing number of monsters, and in preparation for the prophecy left behind by Shibabawa. With heroes spread too thin, the association sees no other choice. During the meeting organized by Sitch, Sonic walks out after realizing that Saitama isn't there, since the only reason he attended was to challenge him. Elsewhere in Z City, Fubuki, the leader of the Blizzard Group and B-Class Rank 1, discusses Saitama's unusual strength and rapid climb in hero ranks with Eyelashes and Mountain Nate. The three of them decide to head out and track him down. Back at King's place, Saitama keeps gaming with him. King hoards all the loot during their playthrough, and Saitama grows so irritated that he accidentally crushes his controller in frustration. At the Hero Association meeting, Garou barges in and immediately causes a scene. He mocks both the heroes and criminals, declaring himself on the side of monsters and calling everyone else his enemy. He then takes down the criminals and Sitch's guards, including Magic Trick Man, Blue Fire, and Heavy Tank Loincloth, with his martial arts. Instead of killing Sitch, Garou spares him so that he could spread the word of the monster Garou. Meanwhile, Saitama is at his apartment playing on King's PlayStation Portable, completely absorbed in his game. Genos handles the house chores until a knock at the door interrupts him. Opening it, he finds Sonic, who is looking for Saitama to settle their rivalry. Genos accepts the challenge and the two head off to fight elsewhere. As that battle unfolds, Fubuki arrives at Saitama's place. She tries to pressure him into joining her faction, but he refuses. Frustrated, she orders her underlings Eyelashes and Mountain Ape to attack. Saitama ends the fight instantly with a single punch. Fubuki then steps in herself, using her psychic abilities, but Saitama shrugs it all off. He criticizes her reliance on followers, warning that when she faces someone stronger than her and her group combined, she'll have no one left to depend on. Fubuki dismisses his words and prepares to strike once more, but Saitama spots Sonic and Genos clashing in the background. Their fight creates a huge explosion, and when the smoke clears, Saitama is standing unharmed after shielding Fubuki from the blast. Genos introduces himself to Fubuki as Saitama's disciple. She's shocked since an S-class hero serving under a B-class hero makes no sense to her. Sonic mocks Genos for being slow, prompting Genos to fight more seriously and slice off Sonic's ponytail. Sonic responds by creating multiple after-images with his speed. Genos prepares a massive explosion to counter him, but Saitama steps in before it happens, pointing out that such an attack would have destroyed his apartment. Saitama then steps up to face Sonic himself. Excited, Saitama unleashes an even stronger version of his after-image technique. Saitama casually uses his killer move, Serious Side Hops. The ridiculous speed of his exercise breaks through Sonic's technique, and Sonic ends up crashing to the ground, battered and defeated. Fubuki, watching silently, is left in awe of Saitama's true strength. Later, inside the apartment, Fubuki reveals that she is the younger sister of Tatsumaki. She explains that because Tatsumaki's power completely eclipses hers, she relies on underlings to strengthen her position. Genos asks why she doesn't aim for the top of A-class, but Fubuki admits that she can't compete with heroes like Amai Mask or the disciples of Atomic Samurai. She even admits that she can never be rank 1. She tries once again to persuade Saitama to join her group, but he refuses outright. Before the tension escalates, King arrives to retrieve his gaming console. Fubuki is stunned to see him, while Saitama awkwardly explains that he accidentally broke the PSP and erased all of King's saved data. Not long after, the Hero Association assigns official hero names. Saitama is dubbed Cape Baldy because of his appearance, while Genos is given the title Demon Cyborg for his relentless combat style. Meanwhile, Garou corners and defeats Tanktop Vegetarian in an alleyway, continuing his rampage against heroes. In Z City, at Bang's dojo, Chiranko lies battered on the floor after another sparring session. Bang tells his student to get up, reminding him that he's been training here for 6 months, but when Chiranko fails to stand, Bang harshly calls him out for failing to learn any martial arts. He kicks him out of the dojo and forbids him from returning. Later, Chiranko is seen in Saitama's apartment with Genos. When Genos asks about his injuries, Chiranko explains that Bang suddenly beat him down under the excuse of teaching him a lesson. Genos considers Bang's behavior unusual and suspect it's connected to Garou's recent attacks. He believes that Bang deliberately forced Chiranko out to protect him from Garou. When Genos asks Saitama for his take, Saitama only gets hung up on Bang's hero name, Silverfang, thinking it sounds so much cooler than his own title, Cape Baldy. As Chiranko leaves, he reflects that his presence might have been holding Bang back from addressing the Garou problem properly. While lost in thought, he hears Garou nearby speaking with Moomin Rider. Moomin Rider, thinking Garou is a supporter, is stunned when Garou openly declares that he will hunt down heroes, starting with him. As Garou makes his intentions clear, Tanktop Vegetarian and the Tanktopper army appear to get revenge for their earlier defeat. Garou quickly knocks out Tanktop Vegetarian and engages the group until the S-class hero, Tanktop Master, arrives, immediately landing a powerful punch. Seeing an S-class hero excites Garou. Tanktop Master smashes the ground with such force it disrupts Garou's footing before ramming him with his Tanktop tackle. Garou is launched but manages to survive, bleeding from the attack. Tanktop Master is impressed by his resilience and questions whether Garou is even human. At Bang's dojo, Bang stands alone until his brother Bomb arrives. Bang admits that Garou has grown far stronger since the day he expelled him and is now much more dangerous. Back at the fight, Tanktop Master unleashes a flurry of attacks on Garou. His intent grows darker as he feels almost a primal urge to finish Garou off like a monster. Before he can deliver the final strike, Moomin Rider intervenes, taking the hit himself. He chastises Tanktop Master for trying to kill a human as a hero. Shocked, Tanktop Master backs down, though his followers argue that Garou started the fight. Tanktop Master ends the battle by telling Garou to leave and to never cause trouble again. Garou contends to comply, but suddenly declares that he'll kill them anyway. Tanktop Master reacts with another punch, but Garou instinctively counters with Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, the martial art he despises because it reminds him of Bang. Despite his hatred, the technique overwhelms Tanktop Master and brings him to his knees within seconds. Garou declares that as a human monster, it's his role to defeat heroes. Hearing the title, Human Monster, Tanktop Master pleads for Garou to spare his men. Moomin Rider tries to fight again by ramming him with his bicycle, but Garou grabs him by the neck and pummels him mercilessly into the ground, shattering his helmet and leaving him bloodied. Garou then blitzes through the Tanktopper army, brutally dismantling them with speed and precision. Chiranko, hearing the chaos, rushes in and attempts to fight using Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, but Garou quickly defeats him too. The following morning, Bang and Bomb survey the destruction. Bang finds Chiranko injured and realizes his student tried to stop Garou in his place. Meanwhile, 3 C-class heroes, Studless, Hyotoko, and Red Nose search for Garou. Garou appears behind them and beats them up. At the hospital, Saitama visits Moomin Rider, bringing bananas to cheer him up. Moomin Rider thanks him, and Saitama points out that the whole incident has been covered by the Hero Association newspaper. Moomin Rider compares Garou's threat level to the Deep Sea King, saying that Garou is even more dangerous despite being human. Tanktop Master joins in, explaining that Garou's martial arts give him the edge, targeting weak points and dealing more damage than he receives. In a park, Tario, a lonely child, is reading a hero guidebook in a playground when Garou approaches. Garou shows interest in the book, and Tario explains that it lists heroes and monsters, including their habits and schedules. Garou realizes that the book can help him track and hunt heroes more effectively. Later, Saitama visits Chiranko in the hospital. Chiranko insists that Saitama isn't suited for martial arts since he doesn't know the basics, but Saitama mentions his interest in learning anyway. Chiranko admits that Bang once wanted Saitama as a student, and though he criticizes Saitama, he eventually hands him a ticket to the upcoming Super Fight martial arts tournament. Since he's injured, Chiranko can't participate, but the ticket allows access to the venue. Saitama seems uninterested in the event itself until he notices the 3 million yen prize for the winner. Elsewhere, Garou confronts the A-class hero Golden Ball in a bar, destroying his drink to provoke him. Golden Ball lures him into an alley, where he uses his shape memory bullets to graze Garou and wound his leg. He then unleashes Golden Breakout, filling the alley with ricocheting shots, but Garou skillfully dodges them and even counters by deflecting and destroying the projectiles. With Golden Ball out of ammo, Garou is ready to finish him off, but Spring Mustachio arrives. Golden Ball points out Garou's injured leg to give Mustachio an advantage. Mustachio forces Garou back with relentless sword swings and prepares to finish him with his tomboy technique. Instead of dodging, Garou lets the sword pierce his hand, shocking Mustachio, before countering with a devastating punch to the face. Garou explains that the hero guidebook revealed their finishing moves, which made defeating them easier. Golden Ball warns him not to get overconfident, but Garou simply states that he'll continue growing stronger and be as arrogant as he likes. In the city, Zymet, a corrupt Hero Association staff, walks with 2 girls, bragging about his influence and trying to exploit them with the promise of meeting their fan favorite Amai Mask. Before he can go further, Garou arrives, mocks him, and knocks him out cold with a punch. He admits beating association staff feels more disgusting than fighting real heroes. As Garou passes by a wig shop, Saitama appears behind him saying, "I finally found you," while looking at a wig on display. Garou assumes that he's just a weak hero seeking clout by fighting him and attacks with a powerful chop that cracks the ground. When it has no effect, Garou is stunned. Saitama asks if he's trying to rob him and casually delivers a chop of his own, knocking Garou unconscious instantly. With Garou down, Saitama buys the wig to complete his Chiranko disguise for the Super Fight tournament. Garou lies unconscious and drifts into a childhood flashback. As a kid, he always cheered for the villains because the heroes were too popular. When he asked his dad about it, he was told the good guys always win. That felt unfair to Garou. He thought the monsters tried just as hard but were doomed to lose because everyone saw them as freaks. He refused to accept that and decided that he would become the ultimate monster, someone who would never lose and rewrite that outcome. Garou wakes up after his defeat against Saitama with no memory of what happened. He meets up again with Tario, the kid he's been running into, and sets his sight on finding Watchdog Man and Metal Bat. Meanwhile, Saitama enters the Super Fight tournament under Chiranko's name. While looking over the contestant list, he runs into Sourface, a former disciple of Bang. Sourface wants to win the tournament and become famous like his master. He mentioned how last year's winner, Wolfman, turned out to be an imposter, which led to a new rule. Anyone caught wearing disguises or faking their identity gets disqualified, banned for life, and fined heavily. 6 months earlier, Garou had declared that he had nothing left to learn, tore through Bang's dojo and crushed many students, Sourface included. Bang gave Garou a brutal beating and expelled him, which made Sourface quit training altogether. When Sourface insults Chiranko, Saitama fires back that at least Chiranko had the guts to face Garou directly, while Sourface quit. Saitama vows to win, which only makes Sourface angrier. At the Hero Association, officials set up S-class heroes as bodyguards to protect staff from monsters. King manages to talk his way out of it by claiming that he's fighting a secret boss, which the staff takes seriously even though he's just gaming. Metalbat gets assigned to protect Narinki, a wealthy sponsor, and his son Waganma at Mouse Sushi Restaurant in S-City, though he'd rather be watching his sister's piano recital. During the meal, 2 monsters, Junior Centipede and Venus Mantrap, attack. Metalbat takes them out easily, but then Senior Centipede arrives. Raffle Sidon shows up too, releasing sleeping gas that knocks out Narinki and Waganma. Metalbat fights by hitting his head, waking himself up with an adrenaline rush, and kills the demon-level threats. Pineapple and Mohican, 2 local heroes, take Narinki and Waganma to safety, but a dragon-level monster, Elder Centipede, crashes into the scene and drags Metal Bat into battle. During the fight, Elder Centipede knocks Metal Bat near Garou, who assumes he's dead and prepares to move on. When Metal Bat stirs, Garou challenges him. Metal Bat refuses at first, but ends up clashing with him anyway. After a tough fight, Garou manages to bring Metal Bat down, but admits that if Metal Bat had landed one solid hit, he would have lost. To his surprise, Metal Bat gets back up and nearly strikes him down from behind, but stops when his sister Zenko arrives. Bound by his promise never to show violence around her, Metal Bat backs down. Garou also drops the fight and walks away. Metal Bat tries to confront Elder Centipede again, but collapses from accumulated damage. Meanwhile, Pineapple and Mohican, still carrying Narinki and Wagama, run into Rhino Rustler and are defeated quickly. The monsters capture Wagama, though Narinki is left behind. Sludge Jellyfish moves to take Zenko hostage, but Garou takes him down instantly. He prepares to fight again, but Phoenix Man interrupts and calls for a ceasefire. Phoenix Man and Elder Centipede try to recruit Garou into the Monster Association, but he refuses. Phoenix Man tells him that they'll cross paths again if he keeps hunting heroes, and orders the monsters to retreat. Metal Knight latches onto Elder Centipede to follow them. Elsewhere, Bang and Bomb are on Garou's trail. Bang vents his anger on a monster called Fistfight Jin and kills him brutally. Across the cities, multiple monsters strike at once. Martial Gorilla, Do-S, 100 Eyes Octopus, Pure Blood, Mycoplasma, and more. With heroes spread thin, the Hero Association is alarmed. Do-S nearly kills Dynamite Man by turning heroes against each other with her whip ability, but Fubuki steps in to stop her. In the Super Fight Tournament, Saitama meets fighters like Bakuzan, Suiryu, Lightning Max, Lin, Hamukichi, Chose, Zakos, and Snek. Genos watches from the stands. Suiryu notices Bakuzan's aggression towards him, but he says that he's only here for the prize money. He also wishes that he could have fought Wolfman, who turned out to be Garou last year. Lightning Max defeats Lin, and Zakos explains that matchups are arranged by strength. Saitama quickly realizes that Zako must be weak since they're paired together. Zakos gets angry, but in their fight, Saitama casually slaps him out in one move, annoyed at how easy it was. Suiryu takes note of Saitama's strength and looks forward to facing him in the finals. Suiryu then defeats Lightning Max, while Genos receives word about monster activity across the city and heads out. Snek wins his match against Benpatsu, but alerts about the monster attack interrupt the event. The announcers consider evacuating, but Bakuzan convinces them to keep going. Sourface wins his match against Jakuman and happily tells Chiranko about it, but Saitama has already wandered off to the bathroom. When Saitama faces Bakuzan, Bakuzan brags about what it'll do to him. The moment he touches Saitama's wig, Saitama punches him out of the tournament in a single hit. Meanwhile, Genos clears out almost all monsters except the demon-level Awakened Cockroach, who escapes. As Genos turns his back, he's suddenly attacked by a mysterious being. Back with Pineapple and Mohican, Hero Association members find them and learn that Wagama has been captured while Narinki was left behind. Do-S continues her assault and manages to brainwash all of Fubuki's followers. Fubuki pushes them back, but Do-S taunts her, saying that she wants to fight Tatsumaki. Fubuki warns her that her sister would know instantly if she were hurt. Right then, Tatsumaki arrives, landing in front of Do-S. Do-S orders the brainwash heroes to attack, but Tatsumaki effortlessly sends them flying into buildings. She scolds Fubuki for relying on subordinates and warns her that it would only make her weaker before leaving. Back in the tournament, Suiryu faces Snek. He dodges Snek's attack with ease and mocks him for being ineffective as a hero. His attitude frustrates Snek, but Suiryu knocks him out in one blow, remarking that only the truly strong survive. Deep within the Monster Association, Goro informs Orochi that Goketsu has defeated Genos and is heading towards the Super Fight Tournament venue. He also reports the defeat of Metal Bat and Metal Knight, assuring victory for the Monster Association. Elsewhere, Child Emperor deploys his robot, Underdog Man number 22, to study Eyesight's poison in hopes of finding a cure for paralysis. He blows up the robot near her, but she hardens her skin and survives. Eyesight tracks down Child Emperor, but ends up eaten by Pig God, who then heads off to hunt more monsters in Y City. Garo searches for Watchdog Man, only for another monster to reach him first. Drive Knight interrogates a captured monster after killing the rest, while Death Gatling assembles heroes to take on the 100-Eye Octopus. Flashy Flash swoops in, severely wounding it with his insane speed, but Tatsumaki arrives and finishes the job instantly, calling him slow before leaving. Elsewhere, Amai Mask slaughters monsters at his concert, and Moomin Rider and Tanktop Master defend the hospital. Atomic Samurai meets with the Council of Sword Masters, Nichiren, Amahare, Zanbai, and Haragiri to discuss Garou. Haragiri reveals his allegiance to the Monster Association and tries to hand them monster cells that grants power at the cost of turning into monsters. He attacks Atomic Samurai, but is killed instantly. Atomic Samurai leaves with his disciples Bushijiro, Yaon, and Okama Itachi to track down the Monster Association. At the Super Fight tournament, Saitama defeats Sourface and Chose before facing Suiryu in the finals. Suiryu criticizes the hero lifestyle, calling it pointless, and tells Saitama that strength should be used for thrills instead. He kicks Saitama, knocking off his wig. Exposed, Saitama lightly punches, creating a shockwave that blasts off Suiryu's clothes and shocks the crowd. Although disqualified, Saitama dominates the fight, brushing off Suiryu's strongest attack. After mocking martial arts, Saitama spins around and accidentally ends the fight by knocking him into a wall, losing his pants in the process. The crowd crowns Suiryu the winner, but he knows that Saitama held back. The closing ceremony is interrupted by monsters. Black feathers fall as 3 crows arrive, carrying Rosie, Dave, and Bazuzu. Goketsu enters, crushes Benpatsu, and offers the contestants monster cells, explaining his own transformation after losing to Orochi. Rosie eats a cell and transforms, but is killed by Chose, who then eats one himself. Others, including Benpatsu, Hamukichi, and Voten, follow. Suiryu refuses the offer, but the monsters attack him. He defeats several, including Chose with his Dark Body Phoenix Rising Fist, but Goketsu steps in. Suiryu pretends to consider the monster cells, then insults Goketsu by throwing one at him. Goketsu brutally beats him down. Meanwhile, in Q City, Garou confronts Watchdog Man. His martial arts are useless against the hero's animal-like fighting style, and he's quickly overpowered. Back at the arena, Goketsu crushes Suiryu despite his desperate attacks. Suiryu is mauled by the crows, begs Bakuzan for help, but Bakuzan mocks him and eats multiple monster cells. The Overload nearly kills him at first, but he rises as a dragon-level threat. Snek and Lightning Max try to help, showing Suiryu the resolve of heroes, but are swiftly defeated. Bakuzan takes over, savagely torturing Suiryu, breaking his body while mocking him. Suiryu cries out for a hero to save him, seemingly in vain. Just as Bakuzan is about to finish him, Saitama arrives, shielding the other heroes. He tells Suiryu his cries weren't ignored and one-shots Bakuzan. Saitama introduces himself as a hero, explains his reason for joining the tournament, and prepares to leave. Suiryu begs him to stay because of Goketsu, but Saitama ignores him. Suiryu despairs until Goketsu's decapitated head lands before him. Saitama returns, asking him to keep quiet about it. Suiryu asks if he can become a hero and even Saitama's disciple, but Saitama declines, though he encourages him by saying that anyone can become a hero. Elsewhere, Piri Piri Prisoner defeats the demon-level Freehugger with a crushing embrace. He learns his cellmates have been captured. Saitama is seen walking with King on the streets when Garou spots them. Ready to redeem himself after being humiliated by Watchdog Man, Garou charges at King, but Saitama kicks him into a wall. Genos undergoes repairs by Dr. Kusuno. Sonic, meanwhile, is offered monster cells by Galewind and Hellfire Flame, his fellow ninjas from the ninja village. He cooks them before eating, which prevents transformation and gives him diarrhea. Elsewhere, Zombie Man spots Martial Gorilla, but instead follows Armor Gorilla after he knocks Martial out. Bang and Bomb continue their search for Garou, while a disguised monster infiltrates the Hero Association to deliver a message. Giro and Destrochloridium take control of a Hero Association executive during a negotiation where monsters and humans supposedly work to coexist. The ruse ends when Destrochloridium kills an executive, revealing the true plan, a full-scale war between the Hero Association and the Monster Association. Destrochloridium draws a pistol to finish the others, but Super Alloy Darkshine shows up, shrugs off its control, and kills it. Giro and Orochi then gather the monsters to prepare for war. Orochi notices Awakened Cockroach and eats him for losing in battle against Genos. Do-S is spared when Giro points out her usefulness. Orochi demands to know Goketsu's whereabouts, only to learn that he was killed. Word of the upcoming war spreads to the public and to rogue monsters, who rush to join the Monster Association. Garou wakes up from Saitama's earlier kick and spots A-class hero Death Gatling, but is too exhausted to fight and hides in a shack. Death Gatling notices him anyway. Tadao and his friends later find Garou in their hideout and force Tadao to confront him. Garou tells Tadao to get stronger if he doesn't want to be bullied. Genos receives new upgrades from Dr. Kusuno to better handle the high-level threats. At the same time, Death Gatling arrives with a group of heroes: Stinger, Smallman, Wildhorn, Chain and Toad, Glasses, Gun, and Shooter to confront Garou. Garou glances at Tadao's almanac before stepping out to fight, declaring that defeating them will put his hero count at 100. He charges in, but gets hammered back by their combined attacks. Garou realizes that their teamwork is solid and targets Glasses, assuming that he's the weak link, but Glasses proves ready to fight. The group offers Garou a final chance to surrender. Death Gatling explains that every hero present has seen death before and that he handpicked them for their skill. Garou mocks the idea of highly skilled A and B class heroes, saying that only S class fights excite him. Death Gatling surprisingly agrees that there's a hierarchy in the association, and that lower ranked heroes want recognition by defeating the hero hunter. Garou finds the reasoning amusing, but soon feels his body giving out. His vision blurs. His breathing gets heavier. Shooter's poison is spreading. Despite the disadvantage, Garou views the heroes as another step towards becoming the monster he envisions. Shooter, Smileman, and Chin and Toad attack, but Garou evades them. Stinger notices the poison slowing Garou down. Chin and Toad bind his ankles while Smileman attacks with his kendama, but Garou redirects it with Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist. He grabs the chain scythe and slices the rope. When Gun shoots, Garou smashes the dama, sending it ricocheting until Wildhorn destroys it. Garou traps Wildhorn, uses him as a shield against Shooter's arrows, and then catches Glass's stones and flings them back at Shooter. He slams Wildhorn down as cover from Stinger's spear. Stinger hesitates, letting Garou finish Wildhorn. Death Gatling and Smileman decide to kill Garou. Despite fading vision, Garou dodges through the forest. He taunts Stinger, knocks out Smileman with a tree root, then faces Death Gatling's Death Shower. Bullets tear through the forest as Garou rushes Glasses. Glasses recalls finding courage after witnessing Saitama kill Demonic Fan and hearing no one knows their limits. He fights harder, but Garou overwhelms him. Stinger attacks with Gigantic Drill Stinger, but Garou counters and knocks him unconscious. Glasses tries once more, but gets beaten down. Death Gatling, the last hero standing, activates Death Shower again, ignoring Garou's warning that Tario is in the shed behind him. Garou deflects nearly all the bullets to protect the boy, taking several hits in the process. When the dust clears, Death Gatling is stunned to see Garou alive. Garou mocks him for wasting all his ammo and crushes his gun before calling their efforts pathetic. Tario emerges from the shed, but flees in fear when he sees the defeated heroes and the bloodied hero hunter. Garou almost calls out for him, but lets him run. He pulls the arrows from his back and staggers away, only for Genos to arrive after receiving Glass's distress call. Genos, armed with a new body, clashes with Garou in the battle of speed and technique. Garou lands blows using Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, while Genos responds with machine gun blows and incineration blast. Garou is impressed by his opponent's adaptability, while Genos notes Garou's skill despite his weakened state. Meanwhile, Saitama nearly wins a game against King, only for King to pull off a combo at the last moment, making the score 81-0. Saitama slams his head in frustration, while King casually explains that he's just button mashing. Their banter is interrupted by a monster alert, though King mentions S-Class heroes are already on it. Back in the forest, Garou changes his stance, imitating Watchdog Man's movements. He surprises Genos with incredible speed and rips off his right arm, only to be tracked by his automatic cables. Genos warns him that the Monster Association is the real threat, but Garou grows furious at being called Small Fry. As they fight, more monsters appear, trying to recruit Garou, but Genos slices through them all. Genos declares his determination never to let his guard down, remembering Saitama's teachings. Garou is shocked at the mention of Saitama-sensei. As Genos prepares to incinerate him, Bang arrives and violently kicks Garou aside. Bomb joins to help, and the two brothers take their stances against their former student. Garou recalls his childhood in Bang's dojo, then charges in, clashing with Bang's superior Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist. Bang's relentless assault nearly kills him, but Garou uses Watchdog Man's techniques to escape. Bomb blocks his retreat, and Phoenix Man arrives to extract Garou. He carries him into the air just as Elder Centipede bursts from the ground. The dragon-level threat overwhelms Bang, Bomb, and Genos despite their combined attacks. Genos uses Ultra Spiral Incineration Cannon from inside its body, but Elder Centipede regenerates. Bang prepares for a suicidal last stand when King appears with a megaphone, luring Elder Centipede by claiming Blast is with him. At the last second, Saitama arrives and obliterates the monster with a serious punch. The Hero Association's in full panic mode. Garou's been upgraded to dragon-level threat and everyone's scrambling for solutions. Someone want to call Blast, the S-Class rank 1 hero, but he only shows up when he feels like it. Child Emperor is busy tracking down the Monster Association's base while heroes gather for the coming raid. Garou wakes up inside enemy territory where Orochi gives him an ultimatum: bring back a hero's head in 1 day or else. Two monsters, Bug God and Royal Ripper, get assigned to monitor him. Garou hits the streets, runs into Saitama at a restaurant, and bolts without paying. Saitama chases him down, thinking he's a dine and dasher. Later, when Garou saves Tario from bullies, Saitama catches up to him and knocks him out with one casual punch. When Garou comes to, Bug God and Royal Ripper test his loyalty by ordering him to kill Tario. He refuses, fights back, and gets brutally beaten for it. The monsters leave him bleeding but alive as they take Tario with him. Back at HQ, Child Emperor puts together the raid team while deliberately leaving out Genos and Bang. Tatsumaki warns them to keep Fubuki away from the action. Inside the Monster Association, Gyoru reveals that Orochi used to be human before getting transformed into the Monster King through repeated near-death experiences. He thinks Garou has the same potential. Garou later recovers enough to infiltrate the Monster Association's base and save Tario from Royal Ripper, who's about to torture the kid. Despite taking a stab wound, he rips Royal Ripper apart using the Whirlwind Iron-Cutting Fist. They make a run for it but encounter an overgrown rover, who quickly overwhelms Garou while Tadao flees for his life. Garou intervenes and restrains Garou with psychic powers and tries recruiting him, explaining how monsterification works through trauma and evolution. Out of all his experiments, only Orochi succeeded at reaching dragon level. Garou refuses the offer and figures out Garou's weakness. He can only focus on one action at a time. Breaking free, Garou goes for the kill, but Orochi intervenes. The Monster King transforms into a massive serpent with multiple heads, launching horn projectiles that pierce Garou's abdomen. Flames and crushing force slam Garou into a wall repeatedly. While Garou tries his fighting stance, Orochi copies it perfectly mid-battle, proving he's also a martial arts genius. Garou gets destroyed, and Garou decides brainwashing will be necessary since Garou lacks true killing intent. The S-Class heroes meet to finalize their strategy. Amai Mask bursts in, demanding to lead, which pisses off Tatsumaki, Flashy Flash, and Zombie Man. King arrives and calms everyone down. The Strike Force heads to Z City's ghost town, where over 150 monsters ambush them, led by Evil Eye. Tatsumaki shields everyone, but leaves them to fight alone. Support heroes show off their skills while Atomic Samurai, Flashy Flash, Darkshine, and Pig God obliterate waves of enemies. Child Emperor destroys Garou's spy drone, and Flashy Flash encounters Hellfire Flame and Gale Wind in their dragon-level forms. After a brutal high-speed clash, he defeats both but loses his transmitter in the process. Child Emperor discovers a destroyed Metal Knight robot deep underground and realizes the Monster Association has tech experts. He extracts data revealing Waganma's location and gets furious that Metal Knight withheld this info. Phoenix Man attacks, but Child Emperor deploys gadgets and takes him down. He rescues Waganma using gas and protective gear, then fights off Sludge Jellyfish with fire. Machine Gun G5 shows up and resists multiple traps before Phoenix Man resurrects even stronger. Child Emperor summons Brave Giant, his ultimate weapon, with a time limit of 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Phoenix Man drags him into Phoenix Space, a mental realm where he tries recruiting the boy. Child Emperor refuses, and the fight escalates through multiple transformations. Phoenix Man melts Brave Giant's fist with 10,000 degrees Celsius heat, then switches to ice powers. He shows Child Emperor the corpse of fallen enemies as proof that unity matters, revealing his tragic past as a mascot who couldn't remove his costume. Child Emperor almost breaks until Zombie Man contacts him with gratitude, bringing him to tears. Phoenix Man revives fallen enemies and tries forcing a monster cell down Child Emperor's throat. The boy spits it out, shocks the revived monsters with Gigavolt Smash, and plants a Tickle Tickle bug on Phoenix Man. Unable to remove it without discarding his suit, Phoenix Man explodes and shrinks into a chick. Saitama shows up randomly and praises him. The group escapes to the surface while Zombie Man wipes out Pure Blood and a crowd of monsters elsewhere. Amai Mask fights Do S and reveals his monster side after crushing her. Atomic Samurai's disciples battle Devil Longhair and win by exploiting his weakness. Atomic himself cuts through the Sword Devil Executioner and G5 effortlessly. He saves Tadao from Black Sperm, but gets overwhelmed when the monster splits into countless clones. Zombie Man faces Homeless Emperor, who reveals that he got his powers from God himself after being chosen to wipe out humanity. Puri Prisoner unveils new techniques and defeats Bakwama, but accidentally crushes his own monsterfied inmates while chasing Nyan. Amai Mask encounters Fur Ugly and freezes up. Extreme ugliness paralyzes him with fear. He calls for backup, but Fur Ugly keeps beating him down. Tatsumaki eventually intervenes by lifting the entire Monster Association headquarters above ground. Puri Prisoner accidentally releases Garou, who immediately pummels him. Flashy Flash mistakes Saitama for a monster and attacks him. Saitama catches his sword barehanded. They run into each other repeatedly as Tatsumaki extracts Garou's real body, which turns out to be Psychos. King encounters a shape-shifting monster disguised as Waganma, but the King engine scares it to death. After Child Emperor rescues Waganma, he finds out that there's another hostage who needs to be saved. Child Emperor leaves Waganma to support the heroes, while he goes back to search for the other hostage. The support heroes escort Waganma to the surface when Nyan intercepts them, defeating all of them. Drive Knight awaves and saves Waganma from Nyan through multiple tactical transformations, ultimately incinerating the monster. He warns to Kengar, the commander of the rescue mission, that Metal Knight's a traitor before G5 attacks and blasts away Sekengar's right hand. Genos appears, destroys G5, and escorts everyone to safety. After learning Saitama's fighting inside alone, Genos prepares to enter the hideout with intel from Drive Knight. Darkshine finds Puri Prisoner knocked on the ground. Garou appears at the corridor's end and the two face off. Child Emperor discovers Atomic Samurai's disciples defeated by evil natural water. He dodges attacks while assembling his snowman robot, using Flash Freezing Breath to counter the monster's jet streams. Sludge Jellyfish shows up to help but gets absorbed by evil natural water instead, making the freezing attack useless because of the oil's low freezing point. Genos rushes towards the Monster Association HQ, Reviewing Drive Knight's data, he notes all the Cadres are dangerous, but figures Saitama might have already killed them. Flashy Flash and Saitama run in circles underground, completely lost. Every S-Class hero is getting overwhelmed and pushed to their limits thanks to Goro analyzing their fighting styles and creating terrible matchups for them. Tatsumaki locates Goro's real body and starts pulling her out while Bang, Bomb, and Fubuki fight overgrown Rover. Fubuki shields the martial artists from blasts while boosting their physical abilities with psychic power. Bang and Bomb land their combination attack on Rover, who gets back up completely unharmed. In frustration, Bang tells the dog to sit and behave. Surprisingly, Rover obeys and they quickly pass by. Flashy Flash and Saitama ride a minecart led by Monaco, a small monster they took hostage who plans to drop them to their deaths at a switching point. Minor monsters attack, but both heroes quickly take them out. Psychos drinks a mysterious elixir and declares that she's now much stronger than Goro. Goro fights Darkshine but gets overpowered and knocked back. Darkshine unleashes a devastating tackle that shatters Goro's ribs and sends him through multiple floors. Goro recovers and combines Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist with Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist in an onslaught that makes Darkshine consider defeat. Darkshine uses full power with Super Alloy Bazooka, but Goro meets his fist head on. At this point, Goro's limiter is starting to break. Psychos and Tatsumaki clash as they rocket towards each other. Psycho smashes through the floor where Saitama, Flashy Flash, and Monaco are riding. King finds Tario and immediately suspects that he's a shape-shifting monster. An invisible monster behind Tario reveals himself and flees, thinking King saw through his disguise. Orochi's heart absorbs the invisible monster's blood to regenerate. He senses the psychic battle nearby and reaches towards them. Orochi blasts Tatsumaki and Psychos from all directions, catching Tatsumaki by surprise and releasing her grip. Psychos flies down towards Orochi to take his energy. Orochi tries seizing control, but Psychos resists, resulting in a fusion between them. The fusion gives Psychos the upper hand over Tatsumaki. Saitama erupts through Orochi's cells, freeing Tatsumaki from Psychos' control. King informs Tatsumaki that he secured Tario, allowing her to go all out. Garo continues beating down on Darkshine, slipping past a punch and delivering a strike that makes Darkshine cough blood. A flashback shows Darkshine's past as a frail child who couldn't participate in physical activities. His parents gave him dumbbells on his 15th birthday. He lifted daily, building confidence along with muscle. He joined the Hero Association searching for an opponent who could push him to his limit. Garo's assault makes Darkshine realize that he never wanted a real fight, just a satisfying victory. Fear overwhelms him. Garo kicks him in the stomach and pins him down, but stops when Darkshine yelps in fear, judging his assault as mere bullying. Garo's joints crack and dark marks crawl towards his face. Tatsumaki's psychic barrier surrounds Darkshine and pulls him up as the ceiling collapses. Darkshine tells Garo to run before losing sight of him. Tatsumaki rips out the Monster Association HQ to the surface. The Psychos Orochi fusion emerges in pursuit. Metal Bat decides to join despite injuries. Moomin Rider and Tanktop Master leave the hospital to assist civilians. Psychos fires a powerful blast that slices the planet's edge. Tatsumaki blocks it but takes damage. Psychos reveals an otherworldly being visited him during the fusion and bestowed power. The battle intensifies with Tatsumaki weaving through energy beams and tossing massive land pieces. Tatsumaki rips the fusion bodies apart from the inside. While pulling trapped heroes from the tower, a regenerating Psychos catches her off guard. Genos deflects the blast last second. Genos and Tatsumaki face the regenerated fusion. Genos fends off energy beams while Psychos unleashes a colossal blast towards Tatsumaki. Genos positions himself in front and counters with his own blast, urging Tatsumaki to rescue trapped heroes. After neutralizing one attack, Genos gets immobilized. Psychos fires another beam, but Tatsumaki shields him, deflects the attack, and questions her about Fubuki. Underground, Atomic Samurai searches for his disciple, while Child Emperor tries reaching Zombie Man. Pig God appears, shielding Child Emperor from debris. King and Tario climb the stairs when the place starts to collapse. Tatsumaki starts coughing blood from overexertion. Psychos then notices the power decline and tries escaping with a smokescreen, morphing into a jet. Tatsumaki conjures a massive psychic barrier to trap her. Psychos tries piercing Tatsumaki's heart with a laser, but hits a dummy instead. Drive Knight appears and joins the fight. Genos briefs the grounded S-Class heroes, warning that Tatsumaki is nearing her limit. Pig God regurgitates Zombie Man, Ion, and Rinki's private squad from his stomach, while Tanktop Master rescues civilians trapped under debris. A medical helicopter gets halted by Tatsumaki's invisible barrier. Tanktop Master lifts a transmission tower and hurls it through the air, using its wire to reach Monster Association HQ. Amai Mask recounts his battle with Fur Ugly, berating himself. He mistakes the other heroes' glances for disapproval and considers killing everyone to cover up his defeat. Ion asks if he's fine, triggering a flashback of Blast saving him from a monster. This snaps Amai Mask out of his murderous intent. Underground, Garo rises from concrete debris, Realizing each defeat makes him stronger, he starts transforming into a more monstrous form. Atomic Samurai suggests working together to defeat the Monster Association leader. Bang, Bomb, and Fubuki join the surface heroes. Fubuki pleads for them to help Tatsumaki, who's losing consciousness. Tatsumaki has a flashback to 18 years ago when Blast saved her from a rogue monster at a research institute, convincing her to use her powers to protect her loved ones. She then regains consciousness. Drive Knight chases Psychos into a tunnel while Tatsumaki creates obstacles to trap her. Genos and Drive Knight jump into her jet and unleash powerful beams, but Psychos stores the energy and releases it back, sending them plunging down. Tanktop Master intercepts another beam with a massive boulder. With Fubuki boosting his abilities, he throws large boulders at Psychos. Drive Knight requests to fuse with Genos to maximize power output. They transform in a tactical combination, promoted Rook, and stop Psychos mid-air. Tanktop Master throws an entire building containing Kamikaze, Puri Puri Prisoner, and Darkshine. The heroes use combo attacks to pummel the fusion down. Psychos separates from Orochi as Bang and Bomb use Cross-Fang Dragon Slayer Fist to incapacitate him as Tatsumaki prepares to finish Orochi. Underground, Saitama, Flashy Flash, and Monoko discover a mysterious cube. Tatsumaki pulls out the ground and charges the spire with psychic energy to deliver a killing blow. The three notice a mysterious humanoid figure crouched in a fetal position. A voice offers to bestow powers upon them. Blast appears through a portal, explaining that they can talk with him due to the physical contact with the cube. Flashy Flash tests Blast with an attack, which he easily dodges. Blast takes him to the surface via another portal. Homeless Emperor reappears and attacks the rear guards. Zombie Man's body gets torn apart from blocking shots for Child Emperor. Tatsumaki launches the energy spear at Orochi, shredding him to pieces. And at the same time, King and Tario finally make it to the surface. Waganma hugs Tario and urgently requests King and Metal Bat to save Child Emperor. Sekengar instructs both to stand by where they can monitor the battle. Metal Bat fashions a slingshot from tire parts to where he and King get flung into the air, crashing outside a batting cage. Tatsumaki's massive psychic barrier around Z City starts fading away, finally letting a medical helicopter reach the people stuck inside. Fubuki watches Tatsumaki floating in the sky and feels relieved seeing her sister alive. Bank notices the normally selfish S-Class heroes, including Tatsumaki, are actually working together, which shows that they're growing. He talks with Bomb about Garou, and Bomb thinks that Garou probably died inside the Monster Association base. But Bang insists that Garou doesn't go down easily and tells his brother to stay alert. Homeless Emperor stares at the badly injured zombie man, thinking that Goro and Orochi might be dead. Amai Mask suddenly bursts through the smoke, trying to attack Homeless Emperor. Black Sparring shoots out the ground and intercepts him mid-air. Fur Ugly pops up the same way, and his grotesque appearance terrifies Amai Mask. The top A-Class hero gets brutally punched in the face, completely deformed before being ripped apart. After taking down Amai Mask, Fur Ugly steps on Zombie Man's regenerating body. Homeless Emperor launches a massive orb that explodes and almost catches several heroes in the blast. Evil natural water bursts from the ground as Pig God and Tanktop Master barely escape getting eaten by gums. Homeless Emperor, Fur Ugly, and Black Sperm argue but eventually agree to team up against the heroes. Genos crashes down in front of Fubuki, Puri Puri Prisoner, Bang, and Bomb. He reveals his core is overheating and he's about to explode. Genos mentions Drive Knight already left without caring about his condition. Fubuki uses her psychic powers to stabilize Genos' core, though it takes everything she has. She succeeds, but immediately passes out from exhaustion. Tatsumaki appears to get caught by Homeless Emperor's energy spears, but she swapped herself with a decoy. The real Tatsumaki, weakened from her injuries, appears before them. Despite Fubuki trying to stop her, Tatsumaki insists on battling the remaining monsters. Genos offers to help Tatsumaki and Bang decides to go with him, telling Bomb to watch over Fubuki. During the fight with Gums, Tanktop Master struggles until Pig God tackles the monster. Fur Ugly grabs a hostage and rips off his arm. Tanktop Master charges at Fur Ugly, but gets a devastating punch that shatters both his forearms. He gets brutally beaten and eventually swallowed by Gums. As Fur Ugly prepares to assault Tatsumaki, Bang intervenes by kicking through Gums and rescuing Tanktop Master, with Genos incinerating its insides. Bang deflects Fur Ugly's attack back at him. After checking on Tanktop Master, Bang realizes his heart stopped. Bang snaps his tank top back onto him, which miraculously revives him through tank top magic. Gums unexpectedly captures Genos in its jaws after healing. Bang redirects Fur's ugly punch towards Gums and retaliates with strikes. Gums, thinking it was attacked on purpose, swallows Fur Ugly whole. Bang and Genos take Tank Top Master and Tatsumaki to Fubuki for healing, but then Fur Ugly tears Gums in half from the inside. Meanwhile, Atomic Samurai and Iron fend off jets from evil natural water. Darkshine arrives, shooting Iron with his durable body and remaining unharmed from the attacks. He splashes the monster with a single punch. Bang and Genos get intercepted by Black Sperm, attacking them with numerous clones. Atomic Samurai and Darkshine join to assist. Fubuki tries to join the battle despite her injuries, but Bomb intervenes. The heroes successfully fend off numerous Black Sperm clones. A clone seeks help from Homeless Emperor, who declines and plots to eliminate Black Sperm after it multiplies to maximum. At the same time, Fubuki doubts her remaining powers will suffice to heal Tanktop Master. She suggests combining powers with Bomb. They channel their energy into healing Tanktop Master, which proves somewhat effective. Suddenly, Garou emerges from underground in monstrous form. Bomb calls loudly for Bang, alerting everyone to Garou's presence. As Bomb readies himself, Garou engages in combat with him. Fubuki observes and attempts to assist, but their movements are too swift. Garou aims to strike at her, but Bomb intervenes and sends Garou flying, while the other heroes continue battling Black Sperm clones. A massive clone emerges, about to crush Tatsumaki, but Genos arrives and frees her by incinerating the monster. Another large clone appears and slams Genos into the ground. Genos activates his burial escape feature and gets back up. Together, Genos and Tatsumaki prepare to confront Black Sperm. Fur Ugly arrives in his mutated state, demanding to fight Bang. Black Sperm mocks him, prompting Fur Ugly to spit acid at several clones. Darkshine attacks, but Fur Ugly counters with his acid punch. The acid begins dissolving Darkshine's hands and he writhes in pain. Zanbai charges with his sword, but Fur Ugly melts it and spits acid that dissolves through his head, killing him. Atomic Samurai and Nichiren attack simultaneously, but their swords dissolve on Fur Ugly's body. Garou and Bomb continue battling. Bomb reflects on Garou's rapid growth and resolves to hold ground until Bang arrives. With one decisive hit, Garou knocks Bomb down. Bang arrives just in time to witness his brother's defeat. Bang comments on Garou's state before deciding to fight with full force. They engage in combat, matching each other skillfully. Fur Ugly unleashes his full-body melting punch at Atomic Samurai and Nichiren. Amahare sacrifices himself, kicking them out of harm's way while getting instantly killed. Nichiren suffers mortal injuries and activates his mythical pearl to summon the Sunblade, entrusting it to Atomic Samurai before losing consciousness. Black Sperm warns Fur Ugly against consuming his clones. The monstrous figures declares that he'll keep them as livestock, provoking Black Sperm to retaliate. Black Sperm begins merging his cells into Golden Sperm. Upon emergence, Golden Sperm quickly overpowers Fur Ugly. Homeless Emperor attacks Fur Ugly with multiple energy orbs. Fur Ugly recovers, realizes that he's outmatched, and slowly retreats. Golden Sperm shifts attention to Darkshine and lands a punch, sending him hurling away. Metal Bat suddenly appears, destroying 4 Black Sperm clones with a single swing. Homeless Emperor targets Atomic Samurai's group with his extreme carpet bombing. Yarin and Spring Mustachio deflect the energy balls. Genos and Tatsumaki struggle against Black Sperm clones. Child Emperor, who's trapped under a pile of rubble, sends a message to Metal Knight, requesting assistance. Piri Piri Prisoner later finds him and rescues him. Genos, having lost all of his limbs, crawls while carrying an unconscious Tatsumaki before King appears before them. Garou and Bang continue battling, with Garou adopting the exploding heart release fist stance. Both Bang and Bomb are taken aback. Bang explains Garou broke into his dojo safe and accessed the secret technique scrolls. Bang's backstory reveals that he was once a reckless ruffian. Bomb confronted and defeated Bang, leading him to develop a defensive fighting style. Returning to the present, Bomb realizes Bang is struggling against Garou. Bang tells Bomb to watch as he fights, striving to connect with Garou. He resolves to abandon his hero role and reclaim his position as Garou's mentor. Meanwhile, Black Sperm overwhelms Genos and Tatsumaki with countless copies, tearing off Genos' limbs. Tatsumaki urges Genos to flee, but Genos refuses, choosing to protect Tatsumaki. As Homeless Emperor unleashes energy spheres, Atomic Samurai struggles to unsheath the Sunblade. He remembers it's a telepathic weapon drawn out only by those it deems worthy. Focusing intently, the Sunblade responds. Empowered by the blade, Atomic Samurai slices through Homeless Emperor's massive energy sphere. As he's about to strike, Golden Sperm intervenes and blocks the blow. The Sunblade grazes Golden Sperm's form and severs half of his right arm. The Sunblade sheathes itself as Atomic Samurai and becomes utterly exhausted. Evil Natural Water appears the same time King arrives on the battlefield. Black Sperm, Golden Sperm, Homeless Emperor, and Evil Natural Water brace themselves for the strongest man on Earth. Metal Bat opts to ensure no Black Sperm clones escape as Child Emperor and Puri Puri Prisoner emerge to the surface. Though King appears calm, he's internally terrified. Homeless Emperor explains King possesses an unusual lack of battle data and can incapacitate monsters without contact. As Homeless Emperor prepares to test King, King warns him about loose rocks. Misinterpreting this, Homeless Emperor grows anxious. King mutters about being a regular human, which terrifies Homeless Emperor. This moment of hesitation gives Zombie Man the chance to suddenly attack him, grabbing his neck. Child Emperor sends messenger bugs to alert heroes of his plan to line up monsters for King's ultimate attack. Black Sperm reveals he has 54 trillion cells, and his clones rush towards Golden Sperm to merge. Metalbat confronts a unit of 100 cells. Black Sperm weeps as trillions of his cells merge into Platinum Sperm. The clash between Garou and Bang still rages on. Bang initially struggles but briefly gains the upper hand. Garou unleashes his roaring aura sky-ripping fist, shocking both Bang and Bomb. The shockwaves reduce nearby debris to dust. Bomb remarks that a direct hit will spell doom for Bang. Bang skillfully evades until they each launch a final strike. Bang lands a punch on Garou's face, drawing blood and fracturing his features. Garou grazes Bang's chest, but the shockwave inflicts significant damage, causing Bang to fall after a grueling battle. Bomb worries as Fur Ugly approaches, grinning with delight at finding Bang for revenge. The scene shifts to Platinum Sperm, about to merge as the ultimate fusion of Black Sperm. Zombie Man's got Homeless Emperor pinned down, telling him that even this fusion won't stand a chance against King. While Zombie Man tries questioning him about his powers, Homeless Emperor spots something massive on the moon. Suddenly, he finds himself in a vision with God looming overhead. Without warning, God strips away his powers completely, causing him to disintegrate right in front of Zombie Man. Meanwhile, the other heroes wonder why King hasn't unleashed his supposedly legendary attack yet. Child Emperor figures that King must be waiting for his opponents to reach full power before striking to really terrify the monsters. When King starts unfolding his arms, everyone thinks that he's about to attack, but really he's just trying to bow and surrender. Platinum Sperm extends a tentacle and swiftly takes down several heroes around King, then challenges him to a one-on-one fight while threatening to decapitate him. At the same time, Garou absolutely demolishes Fur Ugly with a devastating kick when the monster tries to seize his fallen master. As King closes his eyes and shouts out an attack name to bluff his way through, Garou goes berserk and dashes towards Platinum Sperm, which sends him flying with one punch. He follows up by deflecting evil natural water jets and countering with rapid strikes. All of this happens so fast that King doesn't even realize Garou was there, while the injured heroes watch him from afar thinking King did everything. A black portal opens up, and Blast teleports Saitama, Flashy Flash, and Monaco to the surface. Saitama immediately rushes to check on Genos, who explains a Monster Association member was responsible for his condition, not Garou. Flashy Flash attacks Garou, mistaking him for the Monster King, but Garou clarifies that he's got nothing to do with the Monster Association. Platinum Sperm jumps back into the fight, disappointed that Garou won't join the monsters. A three-way battle breaks out between Garou, Flashy Flash, and Platinum Sperm, creating such an intense light show in the sky that people mistake it for Esper powers. During the fight, Garou unveils his Monster Calamity God Slayer fist, overpowering both opponents. Eventually, Flashy Flash gets taken out by Platinum Sperm, leaving just Garou to finish off the fusion with a fatal blow. Elsewhere, Tatsumaki encounters God, trying to trick her by mimicking Blast's appearance. She sees through the deception, causing God to leave in frustration. The real Blast shows up moments later, impressed that she resisted. King shocked to see Blast, and even more surprised when the top hero mentions that he's been fighting that thing elsewhere before teleporting away again. A massive earthquake signals the arrival of Sage Centipede, emerging from deep underground. The creature announces it was sent to destroy the abominable fist opposing God and calls itself the incarnation of Father Earth. Evil natural water transforms into evil ocean water, and Sage Centipede declares that they'll bring total destruction together. Garou leaps at Sage Centipede and lands some effective hits until the monster threatens to shoot down a helicopter carrying Tadao and the injured support heroes. Sage Centipede and Evil Ocean Water team up, badly injuring Garou with their combined assault. That's when Saitama races towards the ocean and obliterates Evil Ocean Water with a serious punch that splits the entire sea. He ends up using an exposed aircraft carrier as a surfboard to ride the resulting waves. Metalbat jumps in to help fight Sage Centipede, but proves ineffective on his own. When he runs into Garou, they reluctantly team up to rescue everyone in the helicopter. Their combined attacks, Warring Aura Sky-Ripping Fist and Savage Tornado, still can't put down the monster due to its incredible durability and regeneration. Sage Centipede captures the helicopter with Tadao inside, but with help from One-Shotter and Gear Spur, Garou manages to free it. Metalbat's fighting spirit kicks in despite his injuries, amplifying his strength. The two create an unintentional combo attack that cracks Sage Centipede's shell through their resonance. Garou discovers and removes the monster's regeneration core, then races the centipede to retrieve it. After destroying the core midair, Garou runs along the monster's massive body, stretching from the ground to space, and slices it completely in half vertically, declaring his fist has been perfected. After taking down Sage Centipede, Garou encounters Saitama, who asks what he's supposed to be. Garou introduces himself and his goal to become absolute evil, but Saitama points out all the heroic things he's done. When Garou tries to attack, Saitama sends him flying with one punch, which triggers Garou's memory of their previous encounter. Their fight escalates dramatically, causing earthquakes. Despite Garou's fierce attack and regeneration abilities, Saitama barely takes any damage. Their fight is momentarily interrupted when Tadao approaches Garou and calls him a hero, but Garou insists otherwise. Seeing the boys' concern for Hero Hunter, Saitama assures Tadao that he will stop Garou without killing him before they continue to clash. Frustrated by his inability to win, Garou launches an extreme Fajin attack that drives them deep underground, creating shockwaves that lift land on the opposite side of the planet. Blast detects the energy distorting Earth's field and rushes with his team to reinforce a dimensional seal, keeping God contained. Exhausted and defeated, Garou hears a voice as mysterious clouds form overhead. God appears disguised as Bang, offering power to the frustrated Hero Hunter. Realizing it's not the real Bang, he slaps his hand away and accidentally makes contact, transforming him into a cosmic form filled with stars and galaxies. He then emerges as Awakened Garou, Cosmic Fear Mode. Garou's transformation gives him a complete understanding of energy flow and universal forces. Using his new all-life eradication fist style, he rushes Saitama with nuclear fission, creating a massive explosion with a nuclear-level power. The defeated Psychos watches from a distance, comparing the explosions to Homeless Emperor's spears and calling them divine power. Saitama walks out completely unharmed, but gets annoyed that his clothes got shredded. Garou laughs at his concern over clothing and claims that he can read all his moves now. When Saitama says he'll just get beaten again, Garou explains that martial arts can borrow movements from nature and living things, calling these techniques mode. He activates Mode Saitama and attacks with consecutive normal punches, shocking the hero. Saitama responds with the same attack, and their strikes collide, generating an immense shockwave that pushes them deep into the ocean before they resurface. Garou taunts Saitama about finally meeting someone who can match him blow for blow, claiming any technique he copies gets perfected quickly and that Saitama won't keep up. Saitama just feels bad about telling Tadao he'll stop Garou without killing him. Remember he wanting to show Tadao how powerless heroes are, Garou unleashes Gamma Ray Burst, forming two energy beams that send Saitama flying. The shockwaves hit the surface heroes hard, with Bomb wondering if it's a special move and Metal Bat struggling against the overwhelming light. With Saitama gone, Garou lands in front of all the heroes. They immediately realize he caused those massive explosions. Tanktop Masters questions if this is really the Hero Hunter he fought, while Zombie Man thinks that things will go terribly and Flashy Flash believes running is useless. Everyone stares at him in horror as Garou believes that he finally become the symbol of fear he wanted. He looks up at the sky and says thank you. Bang crawls from the debris, shocked by his former student's appearance, and asks if Garou is still in his right mind. Garou responds that he's always been alert. A flashback shows how God gave him power. Despite Garou slapping away the offered hand during his encounter with God impersonating Bang, just touching it was enough for the mysterious figure to influence him. God tells him he'll become its avatar before disappearing, and Garou experiences an intense power flow that nearly knocks him unconscious. Back in the present, Garou tells Bang that he still remembers Water Stream rock-smashing fists and remains grateful, claiming he's retained his own self despite the mutation. Child Emperor and Waganma suddenly start bleeding from their noses before losing consciousness. Zombie Man rushes to help and notices hair falling from Child Emperor's scalp. Bang confronts Garou, asserting something evil controls his former student and demanding his return. Garou insists that he acts of his own free will, but Blast arrives through a portal and skips formalities. He tells Garou he's being controlled by God and warns that any unleashed attack could threaten all life on Earth. When Garou stays silent, Blast shows him that almost every hero present has collapsed from cosmic radiation. Blast deduces that Garou retains some humanity and may be reasoned with, but Garou laughs, reveling in the chaos his divine power causes. He declares himself the ominous future, disaster-level God. With no choice, Blast tells Bang to step back. Bang declares Garou must kill him to achieve his evil goals. Monoko sees a chance to escape but collapses from radiation, using her last strength to look at Tadao lying unconscious. Genos suddenly appears, charging at Garou with his remaining energy. Garou grabs him, realizing how powerful Saitama must be to have an S-class hero as an apprentice. Blast responds with Dimension Cannon, launching a miniature singularity. Garou dodges, but Blast opens a portal above him and uses Gravity Knuckle to punch him into another portal, freeing Genos. Garou finds himself looping through portals under heavy assault from Blast's punches. The hero seals Garou in a pocket dimension, but shortly after, Garou emerges from his own portal, having copied Blast's abilities. He attacks with Nuclear Fission, Gravity Knuckle, forcing Blast to create multiple portals to redirect the attack skyward. After the confrontation, Blast realizes the energy release could destroy the planet and prioritizes evacuation. Garou dismisses him, knowing Saitama will return and that the hero wasn't fighting at his full strength earlier. Believing that he could defeat Saitama by copying his full power, Garou picks up the helpless Genos and impales him through the chest. As black rain falls from the nuclear fallout, Saitama reappears, visibly distraught at being too late to save his disciple and the other heroes. Garou throws Genos' depleted core at him. Saitama catches it, recalling Genos' words about being punctual. Now furious and serious, Saitama unleashes a mighty serious punch at Garou. The Hero Hunter responds with his own serious punch, having copying Saitama's striking power through Mode Saitama. Sensing the tremendous energy in both fists, Blast fears that their collision will destroy Earth. Just before impact, he opened a portal and transports all three to space. Their fists collide outside Earth's atmosphere, releasing a massive surge of energy. Blast struggles to maintain the portal structure to shield the planet. His interdimensional allies join him, astonished that someone other than Blast can take on divine power, and they assist in redirecting the energy away from Earth. The recoil sends both Saitama and Garou hurtling deep into space, crashing onto Io, Jupiter's moon. As Garou recovers, Saitama thinks that he can unleash his full power here. He considers placing Genos' core in his suit, but keeps it in his hand in case the suit gets damaged. When Garou suggests finding a way back to Earth, Saitama insists defeating him is the priority. Garou opens a portal beneath Saitama, who quickly kicks it away and punches Garou off the moon. Garou returns through a portal while creating another behind Saitama to strike him. Saitama grabs the portal's edge and flips it down, exposing Garou to another punch that crashes him back to the surface. Saitama mocks Garou's tricks and urges him to use his fists. Garou surrounds Saitama with multiple portals and speeds through them, unleashing a flurry of techniques including Roaring Aura Sky Ripping Fist, Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist, Exploding Heart Release Fist, and Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist. He finishes with Nuclear Fission Gravity Knuckle, creating a massive explosion that devastates Io. Though his suit is damaged, Saitama remains unscathed and retaliates with serious table flip, digging into the moon's crust and launching tons of lunar rock into the air. Caught in the attack, Garou gets tossed helplessly in the debris. Saitama charges through the chaos with omnidirectional serious punch, creating multiple afterimages delivering a serious punch from all angles. Garou tries to escape through a portal, but Saitama follows and punches him out, sending him across the shattered surface. The fight shows Saitama gradually overwhelming Garou. Even after using Mode Saitama to fight back, Garou notices Saitama keeps growing stronger. Exposed to Io's freezing atmosphere with torn clothes, Saitama unleashes a serious sneeze that devastates Io's surface, blasting through Jupiter and tearing apart its gaseous layer. The impact sends both fighters into interplanetary space. Garou spots Earth within teleportation distance. After striking Saitama with a massive nuclear fission blast, he opens the portal to return. Saitama suddenly appears behind him, explaining that the cold gave him a stomach ache and that the explosion's light made him fart, which pushed him into the portal in time. Saitama punches Garou back to Earth, landing exactly where their battle began. Realizing his struggle was pointless, Garou questions why Saitama doesn't kill him. Saitama responded that unlike Garou's ever-changing costume or king's reputation, he's not suited for such things. He calls himself a hero and mentions promising Tario never to kill Garou. Shocked, Garou then sees Tario lying dead from radiation. Consumed with guilt, he runs away, grieving that Tario's death was caused by being too close to him. Saitama suspects something has changed Garou since he fell from the sky. Garou laments that calling himself absolute evil is laughable if Saitama can defeat him while refusing to take him seriously. He believes that if Saitama had killed him, his wish would have come true. Instead, the first person he wanted to save after changing the world is gone. Saitama realizes that Garou always wanted to protect Tario. Furious, Garou questions Saitama's understanding of clinging to others, then notices he still holds Genos' depleted core. Garou makes a final request, asking Saitama to copy his time travel technique. Saitama agrees. As Garou begins demonstrating, a voice declares his powers will be taken back. His body starts turning to salt, and he urges Saitama to watch closely. With the technique mastered, Saitama begins going back in time. Before fully turning to salt, Garou tells him to defeat the ominous future. Saitama travels back in time and arrives at the moment that Garou declares that he's the ominous future in front of the heroes and lands a punch that immediately defeats him before he can kill everyone. The future Saitama merges with his past self, leaving only one Saitama holding Genos' core from the future. Confused, Saitama only remembers being hit by gamma ray burst. He's stunned to find the depleted core in his hand and a hole in his costume. Stripped of divine power, Garou finds himself weakened and surrounded by heroes. Genos connects the core to himself to verify its authenticity, but gets overwhelmed by data. The core reveals pivotal moments including Hero's death from radiation, his own death at Garou's hand, and Saitama's battle on Io. Genos confirms that the core is his from another timeline and theorizes about parallel worlds, believing a new version of Saitama separated from the original and merged with the past version. Tario awakens to see lower-ranking heroes assaulting the injured Garou, who offers no resistance. Metal Bat demands they stop. Amai Mask, who miraculously survived getting ripped apart by Furor Ugly, expresses fury about Garou's earlier rampage and insists that he must be executed. But Metal Bat and Saitama oppose this. As Amai Mask prepares to kill him, Tadao defends Garou, explaining the hero hunter saved him multiple times when the heroes didn't. The boy then urges Garou to flee. As the heroes bicker, King's King Engine silences the crowd, telling them to stop for the sake of the kid. Bang asserts that Garou must redeem himself by saving others. Before vanishing, Garou tells Saitama he discussed him, leaving the confused hero behind. After the chaos, Metal Knight arrives in a giant drill, deploying thousands of drones to repair damage. He mandates testing and decontamination for all due to nuclear fallout. As Saitama departs with Genos' damaged upper body, he sighs, lamenting the search for their ruined apartment after Genos is repaired by Dr. Kusano. At a Hero Association apartment complex, Forte, Butterfly DX, and Chain and Toad try to meet their new neighbor, Kate Baldy, expecting to flex their seniority as heroes. But instead of Saitama, King opens the door, instantly shutting down their bravado. Elsewhere, Pig God searches through the ruins of the Monster Association space. A Hero Association representative, worried about his health, sends A-Class hero Air to drag him back to recovery. Air criticizes S-Class heroes for being spoiled and demands Pig God return. But their standoff is interrupted when evil natural water emerges, now reduced to a puddle. Air tries to take it down, only to be defeated by its water beam. Pig God swallows the monster, though it damages him from the inside before dying. Instead of resting, Pig God decides on ramen and advises the representative to survey the area for other survivors. Watching from the shadows, Black Sperm escapes deeper into the wreckage. Weak and low on cell stock, he searches for food, but freezes when he spots Saitama lifting the remains of his apartment with ease. Recognizing him as the one who defeated Garou, Black Sperm hides, horrified. He then notices Genos discovering overgrown Rover, now shrunk and tamed. To his shock, Saitama casually treats Rover like a pet. Once Genos leaves on Hero Association business, Black Sperm decides the safest option is sticking close to Saitama. He awkwardly reveals himself, and before long, both he and Rover are following the Cape Baldy back to HQ. Inside the association, a presentation showcases the new apartment complexes. Residents are limited to A-Class heroes and above, doubling as bodyguards. The real highlight is Metal Knight's AI defense system, promoted as stronger than the heroes themselves. Right as it's introduced, Saitama arrives outside with Rover and Black Sperm. The system flags them as monsters, unleashing a robot that Saitama instantly destroys. More robots deploy, but Saitama smashes them all, leaving officials panicking over the billions wasted. When pressed for details, Saitama nervously insists that the machines just exploded, until King steps in to cover for him. This catches the eye of Dr. Beaufoy, Metal Knight's real identity, who reviews Saitama's record and realizes the new A-Class rank 39 hero may rival even S-Class. He decides to keep watch. Meanwhile, Sitch gathers trusted heroes to discuss God, a mysterious entity linked to the Monster Association. Flashy Flash recalls a strange encounter, and Sitch reveals that Blast had been searching for cubes connected to this being for decades. Genos recounts Saitama's fight with Garou, exhausting the group with a 4-hour explanation. Despite doubts, they agree unity is critical. Flashy Flash and even Amai Mask begin to suspect Saitama's hidden strength. Elsewhere, Fubuki moves with her team towards an undisclosed meeting, hinting at conflict. In our city, Amai Mask dismisses the Soda Pop Boys, a boy band whose members aim to become heroes like Amai Mask. Instead, he calls them ugly copycats, earning their anger. The handsome hero then watches footage of Saitama destroying Beaufoy's robots instead. He declares that Saitama holds the beauty of overwhelming power. Back at the apartments, Saitama finally meets his neighbors. Forte boasts about being the first resident, Butterfly DX flaunts his TV fame, and Chain and Toad explains his kid-friendly image. Saitama, unimpressed, brushes them off, pushing Forte towards a challenge. Saitama and Forte step into a parking lot, ready to settle things. They make a deal. Whoever loses has to take care of Rover and Black Sperm. Chain and Toad and Butterfly DX stick around to watch. Forte shows off his rhythm-based fighting style, but before he can land anything, a car barrels towards him. Saitama warns him, but it's too late. Forte gets hit and knocked out. The Blizzard group emerge from the cars, leaving Saitama to assume victory by default. He hands Rover and Black Sperm to Butterfly DX and leaves with Fubuki and her crew. Elsewhere, in an underground parking lot, a man exits his car and is welcomed by 3 Hero Association staff members. They lead him to a cell holding the captured psychos. The staff tell him that she has no human rights, and since he paid well, he can use her however he likes. He calls her a valuable sample for Tsukiyomi's research. Hearing the name, Psychos waves and strikes with her psychic power, but the man blocks it with ease and knocks her unconscious. Meanwhile, Saitama and the Blizzard group descend to Psychos through a massive elevator. During the ride, Fubuki recalls her past with Psychos. Back when they were students, Psychos blamed Fubuki for stealing her powers. The two were once part of the Societies for Supernatural Research, where Psycho pushed the idea of human extermination, claiming domination was meaningless after glimpsing the future through her third eye. Fubuki rejected her, believing strength was pointless in a ruined world. Back in the present, the man from Tsukuyomi prepares to take Psychos away just as Fubuki and her group arrive with Saitama. Fubuki warns everyone that Tatsumaki knows Psychos is here and will come to kill her. Right on cue, Tatsumaki bursts in and attacks, forcing Fubuki to shield Psychos. The Tsukuyomi Esper joins in, aiming to capture all three psychics. Saitama tries to complain about his ruined apartment, but Fubuki sees him as the perfect support in this battle. As Tatsumaki and the Esper clash, the ground shatters beneath them, dropping Saitama into a lower floor filled with demon-level monsters. The fight upstairs intensifies. The Esper reveals he's drugged Fubuki, threatening to release poison into her body if Tatsumaki resists. She's forced to hold back, but when the Esper releases the captured monsters to erase witnesses, Saitama smashes the poison capsule inside Fubuki and turns it on the Esper, leaving him poisoned and restrained. She crushes the spy who infiltrated the Blizzard Group, ending the threat. The Blizzard Group rushes to Fubuki, but Tatsumaki scolds them and threatens to punish them for putting her sister in danger. Before she can act, Saitama steps in and stops her. Furious, Tatsumaki tries to fling him away with her psychic power, but Saitama resists. He tells Fubuki to get her group to safety, which only makes Tatsumaki more suspicious of their connection. Saitama calls himself just an acquaintance, but Tatsumaki isn't convinced. Their clash escalates. Saitama grips her tightly and the two launch skyward as the ground crumbles. Their fight rages across the city. Tatsumaki spins and slams him, hurls boulders, and unleashes tornadoes, but nothing works. Families traveling to their new homes in the Hero Association headquarters nearly get caught in the crossfire, and both heroes are forced to protect them between attacks. Tatsumaki mocks Saitama for playing defense while Saitama grows annoyed, wishing that he could just go home. The fight stretches on. Tatsumaki pushes her limits, but fatigue starts settling in. Saitama emerges unscathed from everything she throws at him. She tries to send him to space, but exhaustion finally takes over and she passes out. In her dream, she recalls her traumatic past with Tsukuyomi, the moment her psychic powers awaken, and her admiration for Blast as the only adult who saved her. She wakes uncertain about her path forward, and Saitama pats her head, acknowledging her strength but pointing out her reckless destruction. He suggests that she be a great hero if she could rampage without all the collateral. Fubuki arrives, announcing that she disbanded her group. The Blizzard Group begs to stay with her, and after Saitama convinces Tatsumaki, she reluctantly allows it. She warns Saitama that she'll test him again, but he brushes it off, frustrating her further. As the dust settles, the Hero Association scrambles to deal with the aftermath. Meanwhile, deeper inside, Child Emperor begins uncovering troubling secrets within the organization. Later, Tatsumaki watches a revised version of her recruitment commercial, only to find out Amai Mask produced it. Furious at how it turned out, she vents her frustration while the Hero Association continues to struggle with its image, with its corruption getting exposed to the public. Recruiters attempt to bring in a vigilante group and a sumo wrestler, but both turn them down, revealing plans to join a new hero organization, the Neo Heroes. Genos discusses this alternative with Dr. Kusuno, acknowledging the growing corruption within the Hero Association. At the same time, Flashy Flash hunts for answers in a forest, interrogating a monster about God and the Monster Association. When he learns nothing, he swiftly eliminates it. The Tanktopper army feels demoralized after many members quit following the Monster Association battle, though they manage to recruit 3 new fighters. Elsewhere, Child Emperor secretly meets Phoenix Man to share intel, while Darkshine struggles with a loss of spirit after his crushing defeat from Garou. In Wise City, Forest King terrorizes civilians until Genos, armed with new upgrades, arrives to stop him. After the battle, Genos and Saitama talk about finding a new place to live. Saitama explains he picked the smallest available apartment and tells Genos there's no room for him anymore. Genos pushes back, but Saitama argues that there's nothing left to learn from watching his daily routine. Genos instead asks for a sparring session, eager to test his upgrades. The two head to an open area and talk about the increasing number of monsters. Genos thanks Saitama in advance and activates his lightning core, blinding Saitama with his brilliance. Just before striking, Genos hesitates. When Saitama questions him, Genos claims that he won't fight, insisting it would only dirty his outfit. He asks if Saitama thinks he has grown stronger. Saitama points out the upgrades, but Genos doubts if replacing parts really makes him stronger. Noticing Genos' disappointment, Simon comments on the brightness of his move, joking that if nothing else, Genos has definitely gotten brighter. Genos realizes Saitama closed his eyes not just because of the light, but because his strength failed to impress. He interprets this as proof that Saitama doesn't value his progress and begins to doubt himself. Feeling stuck, Genos admits that he's considering joining the Neo Heroes. He explains the new group was formed to address the Hero Association's poor management and destruction, and that many heroes are already joining. Genos reveals that he was scouted and believes training under lesser-known heroes might help him improve. He still seeks revenge against Mad Cyborg, but admits information about it is scarce. He then encourages him to join Neo Heroes as well, but Saitama refuses, finding it too troublesome. In the end, Genos chooses to stay with Saitama in the Hero Association. Meanwhile, 2 new members join the Council of Swordmasters, Yuta, the daughter of Amahare, and Shido, the son of Zanbai. At headquarters, Saitama thanks Forte for building Rover and Black Sperm a house, while Genos takes over Forte's old room. Elsewhere, Child Emperor transfers to the Neo Heroes along with Sekengar and Metal Bat, but with the secret mission of infiltrating the new organization and spying on them. Meanwhile, Zombie Man returns to the House of Evolution, now running a takoyaki shop, with Armored Gorilla and Mosquito Girl as workers. Before the Monster Association raid, Zombie Man tracks the now defunct House of Evolution after trailing Armored Gorilla. Turns out, Zombie Man was created by Dr. Genos, but he managed to escape 10 years ago. When he returned, the lab was already destroyed. Finding him again, Zombie Man confronts Dr. Genos, who explains the concept of a limiter and how one can transcend beyond their abilities by removing it. Back to the present, Zombie Man asks Dr. Genos about his limiter and how to remove it. Meanwhile, Garou and Sourface return to Bang's dojo, joined by Chiranko and new students. King seeks training but fails everywhere he goes, eventually returning to play games with Saitama. Fubuki again tries to recruit Saitama but fails, while Rover officially becomes their pet. Later, Saitama stumbles into a clash between 2 factions, fighting over an ancient dragon that had been sealed away for centuries. Tired of the endless struggle, he breaks the seal and wipes out the dragon himself, ending an 800-year conflict in one move. Later, while he's gaming with King, Flashy Flash shows up and suggests Saitama becomes his disciple and join him in tracking down Monaco for leads on God. Saitama shrugs it off, setting the stage for a coming showdown. Genos cuts in during the match between Saitama and Flashy Flash, and the 3 of them head towards Internet Surfers, where they also run into Sonic, Galewind, and Hellfire Flame. Genos wipes out Internet Surfers. Flash beats Gale and Hellfire, causing them to flee, and Sonic ends up losing to Saitama for the 14th time. Later, Saitama and King went to search for Monaco and successfully captured her after luring her into a trap using food. Afterward, Saitama, Flashy Flash, and Monaco make their way to the Hero Association headquarters and cross paths with Blast. Elsewhere, the Heavenly Ninja Party gathers at Sonic's place to tell him that Empty Void has awoken and lays out their plan to assassinate Flashy Flash, kill Blast, and take control of the world. Later, Flashy Flash opens up about his past at the Ninja Village, including the graduation exam where he was responsible for killing everyone except Sonic. Soon after, Flash receives a challenge letter from Sonic. Blast later discussed Empty Void in the Ninja Village. Empty Void was the founder of the Ninja Village and was once Blast's partner during their search for the mysterious cubes that are connected to God. However, Void came in contact with one of these cubes and became a minion of God. Void fought Blast, but he was defeated and put in a coma. The Ninja Village placed him in a recovery capsule where he lay dormant for 15 years. Meanwhile, Flashy Flash casually decides to go find Sonic and beat him up. Flash tracks Sonic down, and the 2 square off, but before the fight can settle, the Heavenly Ninja Party interrupts. Both Sonic and Flashy Flash are forced to take on the group together. Just as the battle heats up, Blast intervenes and teleports everyone to Sonic's hideout, only for them to discover that Empty Void had already been defeated by Saitama. While Blast is away from his post, a dimensional rift tears open in the sky. From it, Byakko and Genbu, 2 divine beasts guarding God, burst into Earth and destroy entire city blocks. Blast and Empty Void, now freed from God's control thanks to Saitama's earlier punch, fight together to overpower the beasts and send them back. Empty Void, restored to human form, vows to continue the fight against God. Blast, shocked at how Saitama can strip God's power from his servants, asks for his help in the future. He and Void then step into the rift in space-time to carry on their mission. A few days later, the Heavenly Ninja Party reappears, pestering Saitama non-stop and asking him to be their leader. The story shifts to Suiryu leaving the hospital fully healed and almost right away runs into a monster called Great Giant Anteater. He takes it down with ease and starts thinking about joining the Hero Association since Saitama is there. His plans change after seeing Weebigaza crush Emperor Giant Anteater without effort. She announces her return as a stronger Neo idol who will be active as a hero. Impressed, Suiryu decides to infiltrate Neo Heroes instead, believing he could join and leave whenever he wants. At the hospital, his sister, Suiko, is frustrated that he got discharged without telling her. Over at Neo Hero headquarters, Suiryu is handed a battlesuit during the exam, but he ends up breaking it. Because of this, he's forced to work for the group until he pays it off. There, he meets Neo leaders, including the one who defected from the Heroes Association, like Child Emperor, Metal Bat, Darkshine, Sekengar, and one of the executives, McCoy, who appears remotely. McCoy informs Metal Bat that Suiryu will be taking on the role of a Neo leader. During a meeting at headquarters, the other Neo leaders, the organization's strongest heroes, are introduced, including Weebigaza, Acel, Ryumon and Felsenave, Raiden, and Zadots. The sumo wrestler Raiden tests Darkshine's strength but notices his unease and stops. Mars Leo and Koku then storm in, angry they weren't chosen as Neo leaders, but they're quickly put in their place. Suiryu steps in to defend himself when they go after him. Soon, another leader, known as A, is introduced, followed by security guards Destro and Element. The meeting ends with the reveal of Blue, the Blast Sun, as the top figure of the Neo heroes. Meanwhile, after finishing a fight with a demon-level monster, Genos cross paths with Saitama returning from shopping. Members of the Heavenly Ninja Party are shown secretly tailing Saitama. Amai Mask also shows up and invites Saitama for tea to talk. Amai Mask explains that Earth has gone through two major eras of change and that the rise of highly intelligent monsters marks the third. To face this, he wants Saitama to become a superhero in the truest sense, someone who can meet society's expectations. He even takes Saitama to an amusement park to try and make his case. Inside a Ferris wheel gondola, Amai Mask reveals his real name and admits that he's actually a mysterious being. He explains how, despite his good deeds, no one noticed because of his beauty, and over time he just became like the people who judged him. Becoming a top celebrity helped him stay positive, but lately the monsterization process has been affecting his mind. To keep him aligned with humanity, he is focused on killing monsters, but he admits that if forced to choose, he would always save the side with fewer casualties. He worries that continuing down this path will eventually strip him of his humanity, which is why he wants Saitama to inherit his ideals. Saitama refuses, saying the idea doesn't suit him. He rejects the notion of becoming a puppet for appearances, arguing that being a hero is about what you are, not how you're perceived. Amai Mask is disappointed when they parted, but remains determined to sway him later. Chaos soon breaks out in the park as Pesky Clown, a monster craving attention, attacks and easily defeats several security guards. Amai Mask steps in to protect the civilians, and when people recognize him, they cheer for him loudly. At first, he dominates the fight, but as the crowd records and streams the battle, Pesky Clown feeds off the attention and grows stronger. The fight turns against Amai Mask, and the only way to win is by revealing his monster form. Despite his hesitation, he transforms in front of everyone to finish the fight and protect civilians. Saitama bumps into Genos, who is on his way to back up Amai Mask. They catch a live broadcast of Amai Mask's fight with Pesky Clown, and things look grim. Amai Mask manages to kill the monster, but in doing so, his monstrous form is fully revealed. The crowd recoils at its hideous appearance, and when he tries to speak to them, he realizes he can't turn back anymore. Blue Fire shows up and freezes at the sight of him, torn on whether to attack. Then Saitama steps in, impressed by Amai Mask's strength, but knowing the crowd won't accept him. He provokes Amai Mask into grabbing him and uses the moment to leap away with him, getting them both out of sight. News of Amai Mask's transformation spreads fast, leaving the Hero Association in a worse position than ever. They lost a top advisor, one of their strongest heroes, and their reputation is tanking. A scout team is dispatched to track down Amai Mask for trial. Meanwhile, the scouts also search for Suiryu, a legendary martial artist who could succeed Bang after his retirement from the Hero Association, only to learn that he passed away a year earlier. Instead, they meet his granddaughter Suiko, a skilled martial artist herself, who decides to join the Hero Association. At the Association apartments, Forte, Butterfly DX, and Chain and Toad reveal that they've all been approached by the Neo Heroes and are seriously considering switching sides. Black Spurn observes all of this and wonders if the Monster Association's chaos actually paved the way for change. Saitama returns home, only to be confronted by the hero-named Victims Association, a new group of heroes bitter about being saddled with terrible names. They think Kate Baldy would make a perfect addition to their ranks. At HQ, Suiko takes her placement test and earns an A-class rank. Staff compare her progress to her brother Suiryu, who's already joined the Neo Heroes and has been elevated to the role of Neo Leader. Genos, meanwhile, sparrows with Saitama and debates whether to bring up Amai Mask, noting his teacher seems distracted. In reality, Saitama's still thinking about the absurd Hero Names Victim Association. Back at the Neo Hero headquarters, Solitude, a cyborg, scans the room and discovers Webigaza is 71% artificial, with many Neo staff heavily modified as well. A flashback of Blue shows him tailing Saitama and Amai Mask earlier, but Genos blocked his pursuit, leading to a clash before Blue backed off. Now, in the present, he declares his vision for Neo Heroes, to redefine what it means to be a hero. Monsters suddenly start popping up all over the world, forcing both the Hero Association and the Neo Heroes to mobilize. Great Philosopher takes on the sewage crocodiles, but goes down fast. By the time more Association heroes arrive, Webigaza and the Soda Pop Boys, now in Neo suits, have already finished the job. The team talks about how Webigaza enhanced herself with cybernetics, drugs, and even brain surgery out of jealousy towards Amai Mask, which gave her new psychic powers. Elsewhere, Raiden crushes a group of humanoid monsters and questions if the suits can really match natural strength. His saved ally is impressed and briefly considers switching sides. On TV, a reporter covers the defeats of several C-class heroes, followed by an ad for the Neo Hero magazine. Meanwhile, the demon-level explosive velocity snail tears through a highway until Excel learns it into a trap. The Neo Hunters finish it with poisoned spears, all agreeing that the battle suits work better than expected. Ryomon and his gang save Crescent Eyebrow from the Triple Tongues, then mock him and take over the fight themselves. Child Emperor leads his team successfully but grows uneasy, recognizing similarities between Neo suits and the designs he once saw in Metal Knight's lab. He suspects Bofoi might be backing both sides. Elsewhere, A defeats a monster but is confronted by Feather and Double Hole, who know him as a wanted criminal. He brushes them off, declaring his allegiance to the Neo Heroes. Suiryu's team defeats a demon-level monster but barely avoids injuries, prompting him to casually go flirt afterwards. Zaydatz brags about his expensive suit while fighting Meat Dumpling but is badly beat. And Felsenave also falls against another monster, with his followers doubting his divine powers. Metalbat meanwhile crushes his opponent, unimpressed by his suit upgrades and annoyed at wasted resources. He noticed Zaydatz and Felsenave being carried off in defeat. In L City, Blue faces Shell King after his team is nearly wiped out. Anger pushes him to unleash Fist Cannon, destroying Shell King and the Shell Folk. He calls for help for his team before moving on alone. Back at the Hero Association HQ, executives acknowledge the Neo Heroes' growing edge in support and leadership. Outside, the Hero Name Victims Association, now led by Saitama, protests loudly until news breaks of 5 dragon-level monsters attacking nearby. Stitch orders contact with the Neo Heroes for an alliance. Tanktop Master fights Heavy Smoker with a new suffocating tank top but is saved by Flashy Flash, who shows off new techniques. Tatsumaki handles aggregation but is left surveying mass destruction. Genos defeats the extended family of darkness but sustains heavy damage. Blue beats Eel Dragon but burns out of his suit, then rushes to Y City where Suiko struggles against Machine God Mirror. Drunk and desperate, she holds out until Chain and Toad and Butterfly DX arrive, only for all 3 to be overwhelmed. Just when things look bleak, Saitama and the Hero Name Victims Association arrive. Most of the group flees, but Saitama obliterates Machine God Mirror in one strike after being reminded of his hated name. His team cheers him on, lining up for high fives. Blue, Suiko, and the others are left stunned by what they just witnessed. The day after, Tatsumaki gets summoned to the Hero Association HQ. They drop some heavy news on her about a dangerous Esper group called 11, run by someone named Otento who wants her dead. Just hearing that name makes Tatsumaki's skin crawl. She says it brings back terrible memories, but she's down to hunt them. Turns out she's already been tracking them anyway. Not long after, someone sneaks into HQ and leaves a letter. The message says that the abandoned masses are waiting in what's left of the ninja village. Flashy Flash explains who these people are. They're basically a crew of mass murderers with one horrifying goal in mind: wiping out a massive chunk of the world's population. The reputation was so terrifying that even the ninja village leader told his students to stay far away from them. The group was strong enough to go toe-to-toe with the entire ninja village. Flashy Flash gets assigned to deal with them, and he figures that they're trying to take over the criminal underworld now that the Heavenly Ninja Party has fallen. While robots start attacking cities, Child Emperor works on hacking the receivers to find out where they're coming from. He finds something shocking right when a Neo Hero official mentions that his team is ready to deploy against the robots. Child Emperor scrambles to get ready for the field. After 5 dragon-level threats get taken down, Metalbat confronts Element and Destro. He probably wants answers about Zaydatz and Felsenave. Element breaks down the whole cyborgification process, explaining that the Neo Heroes have been researching it for years. That's why Zaydatz and Felsenave survived and got called reincarnated. Element promises Metalbat that they'll do the same for him if he ever gets seriously hurt. The 2 guards take Metalbat to the recovery room where people get turned into cyborgs. Seeing this, Metalbat drops his suspicions. Out of nowhere, Mars Leo and Solitude jump in from behind the tanks. Metalbat asks Element and Destro why they're just standing there doing nothing. Their answer is simple: they want him dead. Metalbat manages to dodge their attacks and gets ready to fight back. Fuzzy, the founder of the Neo Heroes, shows up and stops everything. He orders Element and Destro to get Mars Leo and Solitude out of there and apologizes to Metalbat for how his subordinates acted. A and some Neo Heroes later ambush Sonic in a building. Sonic takes out the weaker ones easily and completely overwhelms A. Realizing he's outmatched, A throws down a smoke bomb and bails. Meanwhile, Peri Peri Prisoner becomes a mentor to a group of prisoners who supposedly have potential to help with hero work. He watches them beat Tentacle Muffler and praises their skills. He tells Hammerhead that he could reach A class and says the others are at least B class material. The prisoners aren't exactly thrilled though. They point out that they're still criminals and nobody would accept them as heroes. Puri Prisoner keeps encouraging them anyways. Then Raiden shows up with his Neo Hero squad. He demands that Puri Prisoner hand over all the prisoners so that the Neo Heroes can take custody. Some nearby citizens seem to support this. Raiden adds that they're planning to cyborgify the prisoners. Puri Prisoner refuses hard, saying that it's his job to rehabilitate them. Raiden says that he'll take them by force then. Later, Suiryu and his Neo Heroes group spot Garou moving boxes for a company. Garou finishes loading the last box when his boss offers to buy him a meal for working so hard. Garou turns him down, but immediately gets hit with a bunch of tranquilizer darts from the Neo Heroes. They think they got him, but Garou actually caught every single dart before impact. The Neo Heroes, except Suiryu, rush at him with their power suits. Garou takes them all down quickly. Impressed, Suiryu steps up to fight. During the battle, Suiryu throws Garou's employer's truck at him, then makes it explode right in his face with one punch. Garou walks out without a scratch. Suiryu can tell that Garou isn't even using half of his power, so he decides to test his new battle suit. Even with the battle armor, Garou holds his ground. Suiryu notices that Garou has been studying his moves and is starting to copy them. Realizing Garou will overwhelm him soon, Suiryu activates his suit limited release. The increased speed catches Garou off guard, but the suit makes Suiryu lose control. He beats Garou into the ground and only stops when the suit breaks down. Suiryu thinks that he's killed him, but Garou gets up with just minor injuries. As they square up again, Garou's boss runs out yelling about his destroyed truck. He regrets hiring Garou and tells Suiryu to capture him. With his suit wrecked, Suiryu is completely vulnerable, but Garou just walks away instead of fighting. Blue later shows up at Hero Association headquarters, but gets turned away at the entrance. The guard recognizes him as a Neo Hero. Blue gets frustrated and starts yelling about wanting a meeting to discuss his ideas for the hero industry and something about his father Blast. The hero named Victims Association arrives and drowns them out. Blue notices them and singles out Saitama because of his strength against Mirror. He asks if Saitama is hiding his identity to build up mystery and become the next Blast. Blue warns that he won't back down. After some confusion about who he's talking to, Blue tells Saitama that they'll meet on the battlefield and that his resolve is stronger. Walking out of the city, Blue runs into Genos, who accuses him of stalking Saitama again. Blue says that he wasn't there for Saitama and just wanted to talk to someone higher up. He tells Genos that he's got intel that Metal Knight has been doing secret experiments with monsters, and someone is enhancing monsters behind the scenes. Blue invites Genos to join the Neo Heroes, saying someone dedicated to fighting monsters is always welcome. Genos talks with Saitama about the Metal Knight situation. He decides to investigate quietly while Saitama keeps doing hero work. Child Emperor finally connects with Metal Knight through a video call, but Metal Knight refuses to share information since he sees Child Emperor as an enemy for joining the Neo Heroes. When Bofoy asks what he's planning with the big doll he's secretly building, Child Emperor realizes that Bofoy has been spying on him. After Bofoy ends the call, he's shown spying on others, including Saitama, Blue, Wibigaza, McCoy, and Drive Knight. Raiden tests a battlesuit later and remembers why he wears one. He thinks back to his fight with Puri Prisoner, where he landed heavy hits without getting hurt, but couldn't take down the S-Class hero because of his pain suppression. Eventually, Raiden figured out that Puri Prisoner cared more about protecting his prisoners than fighting back. He realized that Puri Prisoner is a true hero despite his weird sense of justice. He walked away and said that he'll tell his leader that Puri Prisoner is indeed a hero. Back in the present, Raiden thinks about discovering an S-Class hero's power, but wonders how someone as strong as Puri Prisoner could be considered the weakest S-Class. He also thinks about how Darkshine's spirit can get worn down from fighting evil. As a sumo wrestler, his spirit will stay strong. With his battlesuit, he feels ready for anything. Meanwhile, Metal Bat is being held in a cell at Neo Heroes HQ. An official explains to McCoy that Metal Bat strongly disagrees with the organization's policies. When Blue returns to headquarters, he finds Element and Destro escorting a chained Metal Bat. He questions them, and after Element gives a vague answer and Metal Bat warns him not to trust the bodyguards, Blue starts scanning the area with his lenses. Fuzzy shows up and interrupts them. He apologizes and explains the reasoning behind cyborgification, saying that Element and Destro jumped ahead by trying to cyborgify Metal Bat before meeting the requirements. Fuzzy tells Metal Bat that he is under surveillance because they suspect he might be a spy for the Hero Association. He needs to stay at Neo Hero headquarters, but his family will be kept safe. Blue criticizes Fuzzy and the bodyguards, calling them pathetic. After this, Blue sits atop of a building thinking about the Heroes industry's future. He figures an alliance between the Hero Association and the Neo Heroes will be tough, especially with all the distrust in both groups. He reconsiders his strategy to reach the Hero Association. He briefly thinks about contacting Tatsumaki or King, but settles on Saitama, thinking that he'll be key to reaching the association because of his incredible strength and involvement in protests. Blue appears at an interview where he introduces himself and says that despite being Blast's son, he wants to create his own version of what a hero should be. The interviewer keeps asking about Blast, but Blue moves on, stating that Neo Heroes want to create a public licensing system, and together they'll win against the growing monster threat. He and his squad save Heat Edge, Locust Man, and Poison Punch from a group of monsters. Blue himself one-shots their leader, the dragon-level monster Master King. Making sure that 3 heroes are okay, he notices Heat Edge's broken sword and gives him a spare energy sword. Heat Edge comments on the Neo Heroes' better equipment and leadership. Blue responds that the Hero Association has the S-Class and some others like Saitama. Forte overhears this and says Saitama is his friend. Blue asks to speak with Saitama, but Forte declines, offering to pass on a message instead. Blue shares his plan for the Hero Association and Neo Heroes to work together. Forte turns it down, saying that despite Saitama's incredible strength, he doesn't have the drive to leave a movement like that. He tells Blue to ask Blast instead. This makes Blue angry, and he shouts that Blast has nothing to do with this. Forte gives in and agrees to pass the message to Saitama. Later, Moomin Rider takes on an unnamed demon-level monster. He announces his rival by throwing his bike at it. The monster beats him around, but Moomin Rider suddenly activates his battle suit, blocking and deflecting the monster's attack. He counterattacks with his new move, Justice Uppercut, destroying the monster's body in one hit. It is then revealed that Moomin Rider officially left the Hero Association for the Neo Heroes. This news inspires several other heroes to follow. At the House of Evolution, Zombie Man is shown in the basement vomiting blood, as Dr. Genos watches nearby. His left arm is torn off and his body is seriously damaged, probably from trying to remove his limiter. Genos later heads to East City to handle a monster outbreak at a zoo where he meets Drive Knight. They eliminate all the monsters together, with Drive Knight showing off his transformations. After they're done, Genos asks Drive Knight about his warning regarding Metal Knight from their first meeting. Drive Knight responds that Beaufoy is stealing technology and doing experiments with monsters behind the scenes to weaken humanity and eventually take over. Drive Knight adds that Metal Knight created the mad cyborg that destroyed Genos' town. He asks if Genos wants to work together to take Beaufoy down. Genos declines for now, saying he might go on a rampage. After Drive Knight leaves, Genos sees Saitama's face in the clouds and calms down. When Saitama arrives, they go to Dr. Kusuno's house together. Genos updates Dr. Kusuno on the situation with Dr. Beaufoy and asks him and Saitama for advice. Saitama shoots down Genos' idea to directly confront Beaufoy out of concern that he won't be able to handle it. They compromise that Saitama will step in if Genos gets in over his head. The 3 eat dinner together before Saitama sleeps inside Kusuno's machine for his physical exam. Shortly after, the house gets attacked. Genos is seen holding a critically injured Dr. Kusuno. He gets up and furiously declares that he'll destroy the robots who attack, facing off against Machine God's Body, Tech, and Ray. Body attacks first. Despite blocking its initial attacks and landing some of his own, Genos gets knocked back into the wall. As he gets up, Tech says that this is just a warm-up and that their full offensive will start soon. Genos activates his Scorching Core and attacks Body with heat machine gun blows, but the attacks barely do anything. He dodges Body's counterattack with his floating core, then activates his super magnetic core to form and throw a makeshift spear made of scrap metal. Body shrugs it off again, but Tech and Ray comment on his abilities. All 3 rush Genos at once. He initially struggles to defend against them. After remembering Kusuno's reassurance that he isn't weak, he fights back, immobilizing Body with freezing core. He activates Lightning Core and knocks Tech back with high voltage tackle. Ray tries to shoot Genos, but he uses his Warrior Dragon Core to knock everything away. Tech mocks Genos for his anger over attacking Kusuno. Genos responds with a brutal series of attacks. He breaks Tech's sword and finishes the robot with a super incineration cannon. He rushes at Body, overwhelming it with heavy machine gun blows. Ray tries to shoot Genos, but he crushes the robot with a meteor strike. Body absorbs Tech and Ray's body into itself, getting way stronger. Body states its plan to absorb Genos as they exchange blows. Genos finishes off the final robot with a single final smash attack, sacrificing his left arm in the process. More robots approach, but Saitama saves him by easily destroying them all. Saitama says that he's taking Dr. Kusuno to the hospital, but the doctor wakes up saying it's too late to save him. Kusuno gives Genos instructions to find his final suit of armor and run away from the approaching threat. He apologizes to Genos for dragging him into his personal quest for revenge. Genos starts crying and said Kusuno did nothing wrong, thanking him for everything. After getting his final upgrade, Genos and Saitama plan to attack Metal Knight's research facility. An explosion from the nearby city interrupts them as an army of robots begin tearing through the city. Genos quickly arrives and dispatches the army with just his bare hands. As he finishes the last robot, he accidentally tries to punch Saitama out of reflex, but Saitama dodges. Saitama praises Genos' new upgrade. Genos asks Saitama to stay and exterminate the robots and monsters in the city while he raids Metal Knight's HQ alone. Saitama agrees and Genos flies out. On the way, he encounters an artificial monster created by Metal Knight and quickly kills it with a swipe of his fingers. During the robot invasion, Hero Association heroes struggle against the robot army before the Neo heroes arrive. Mumen Rider, Excel, Raiden, and Webigaza in their battle suits obliterate the robots. Child Emperor unleashes a swarm of bird drones to neutralize a huge group. Suiryu and his team also arrive to help eliminate the robots. Blue appears shocked as the organization robots begin their invasion, wondering out loud what just started. 3 machine god robots named Magnasaza, Slice, and Iguro show up and target strong individuals like Garou, Pure Prisoner, and Zombie Man. They want to take their bodies for soldier modification. Only Iguro succeeds in capturing Zombie Man while the other 2 get destroyed by their targets. Elsewhere, Watchdog Man, Pig God, and Bang destroy all robots in their way. Sonic encounters Machine God Shunpo and outspeeds the robot, completely obliterating it. Later, Fuzzy praises McCoy for the usefulness of his intel, saying he plans to make the former Hero Association executive his right-hand man. After their talk, McCoy gets a call from the Hero Association saying the HQ is under attack. Element and Destro interrupt the call. Element asks if he's a spy for the Hero Association, to which McCoy nervously denies. When they leave, McCoy goes to Metal Bat's cell and tells him about the robot invasion. Unable to escape, Metal Bat asks him to bring his Metal Bat from his locker room. On his way, McCoy encounters A and Ryumon, who bring him to Fuzzy for interrogation. Meanwhile, Amai Mask decides to adopt the persona of Stag Beetleman, a superhero from a children's comic to do hero work. He saves an old woman and her grandson from a swarm of robots, but the Soda Pop boys detect him. Hungry for fame and revenge, they decide to take him down despite his clear heroic action. Child Emperor finally tracks down Beaufoy in his hideout and accuses him of being tied to the robot attacks since the ID signals match Beaufoy's designs, but doubts his old mentor would be that careless. He then theorizes that Neo Hero stole Beaufoy's data, though the massive leak seems suspicious, almost deliberate. He wonders if this connects to the dangerous super AI they once sealed years ago, and suggests humans can only surpass it by becoming machines themselves, losing their humanity. Linking this to the Neo Hero cybernetics, he questions Beaufoy's humanity. With no clear response, he prepares to force answers. Genos eventually reaches Metal Knight's first laboratory and starts engaging the security robots. As Blue fights through the invading robots, he gets caught in massive falling debris from the attacking robots and wonders what's happening. Eventually, he stumbles upon Saitama, who just finished cleaning up a huge swarm of robots. Saitama accidentally punches Blue into a wall while plowing through robots, but he turns out just fine even with severe injuries. Meanwhile, McCoy gets restrained in a chair while being interrogated by Fuzzy, A, and Ryumon. Fuzzy and A reveal that the robot invasion was their plan all along. This shocks both McCoy and Ryumon. A explains that they plan to demolish civilization to rebuild it where humanity will be subjected to thought control and mandatory body modifications governed by the Neo Heroes. Ryumon turns his gun to Fuzzy and orders A to release McCoy. McCoy quickly frees as Ryumon faces A. McCoy runs to get Metal Bat's bat but gets intercepted by Mars Leo, Koku, Destro, and Element. Before they can touch him, Metal Bat punches through his cell door, picks up his bat, and takes down Mars Leo and Koku. Meanwhile, lower-ranked Neo heroes wearing battlesuits start going out of control. The Soda Pop boys assault Amai Mask, forcing him to transform to his true monster form to subdue them. Others start attacking any civilian in sight. Not long after, they attack Webigaza and its cell too. Amai Mask arrives to sell Webigaza while Tanktop Master saves Excel from his own men. Seeing the Hero Association left alone to deal with everything, Darkshine finds his resolve and rushes to the battlefield to aid the heroes. Fubuki and Psychos arrive and both sense the arrival of Suiryu, who now wears a full battlesuit and is completely mind-controlled. Mumen Rider arrives and fights the controlled Suiryu. While Mumen Rider gets beaten badly, he manages to destroy Suryu's battlesuit, freeing him from manipulation. 4 machine gods get sent to eliminate Suiryu, but Saitama arrives to destroy the robots instantly. As Tanktop Master incapacitates all of Excel's men, Machine God Dressed arrives to collect his body. Before it can touch him, Amai Mask and Webigaza arrive to destroy the robot. Darkshine later joins Pure Prisoner in dealing with the mind-controlled Neo heroes. Pure Prisoner passes out in exhaustion before Raiden arrives and engages Darkshine in a fight. After a brutal exchange, Darkshine tears apart Raiden's battlesuit and defeats him. Meanwhile, Bofoi unleashes his Metal Knight series to fight Child Emperor's super brave giant. As the two watch the auto battle, Bofoi decides to answer Child Emperor's allegations. Bofoi brushes off the accusation, says that they're not worth his time, and claiming he's only focused on protecting humanity while trying to uncover who's really pulling the strings behind the organization. Child Emperor asks if he has any idea who this mastermind is. Bofoi refers to someone who has been after him since long ago. Out of nowhere, Genos arrives and punches through Bofoi's chest. Meanwhile, the Hero Association HQ has been surrounded by an army of robots, with few heroes along with Black Sperm and Rover fending them off. Saitama arrives and uses a combo move of Serious Spin, Serious Side Hops, Serious Table Flip, and Serious Whack-A-Mo to eliminate half of the robot army.